fact. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. Blue chunks on the course Saturday. Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. I was lucky I did it where I did it because there was a fence and some bushes. Yeah. Can you imagine if I'd thrown up on a fairway or on a fucking green? It was weird too. They'd have been like, Mr. Bailey, we're no longer allowed to. Yeah. Maybe we need to move that to Stockdale. It was so humiliating. If I could be with you all my life, then I would be with you. I'd be anything but blue. If only I could be with you. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Huh? I'll be right back. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, Chris, however you may be listening or viewing. For those subscribing on YouTube, it's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday, third day of February, third day of Black History Month. We got another busy broadcast, some of which you may not like, but I'm always entertaining. You may not like what you're going to hear, but I'm always entertaining. If I could just find what day it is and what rundown I'm supposed to be reading from. There it is. We got some more information on the Savannah Guthrie mother's abduction. It is officially an abduction. We've got good news and bad news. I'll share that with you in just a second. I've got a rant to go on. That was my allusion to you not liking what I have to say. I believe after listening to American citizens, U.S. citizens, our neighbors, testify before a House Senate panel today about how they were arrested, detained, held, despite being American citizens. And I've got audio and I've got, it's just, I don't understand how, as American citizens, we can look at this and think it's okay. And I don't give a damn if you think I'm a Democrat, if you think I'm a liberal. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. But these guys are bordering on thuggery. And I am reluctant to use those terms because those are the terms that the Democrats are using that is helping gin some of this up. But I'm telling you, we're on the way to, I think the word civil war is a bit strong, but we're facing some possible violence that's going to erupt from this thing. I'll explain in just a second. Theresa Goldner will join us live via the Rogers Brandon Global Telephone Network. She is at her second home in New York City, in Brooklyn Heights, to be specific. We will talk about the arrest of Don Lemon, who, of course, as I tried to explain, is living his best life. He was on Jimmy Kimmel last night, living his best life. Thank you, Pam Bondi. The Trump administration has made Don Lemon a martyr and popular again. His podcast numbers are going to go out the roof. He's going to be, the guest on CNN and MSN Now, and probably I don't know. Fallon doesn't get into this stuff. Kimmel is the wannabe politician, but this was an idiotic decision by this incompetent cabinet of the president's, and it made a martyr out of this guy. And as I said yesterday, as I said Thursday, as I'll say up until the decision is made, there is no way they get a conviction on Don Lemon. And I watched the ladies of The View. I don't even know why I reference them, but they managed to talk about Don Lemon and the incident literally, and this just goes to show the bias, without ever mentioning that he invaded a church. They talked about the arrest, how he was willing to give himself up, but they arrested himself. And as I'll ask Theresa Goldner, that's standard operating procedure. That's not specific for Don Lemon, but because I'm a black gay man, he thinks it's special to him. You know what I'm saying? That is very common because the federal government does want to make a statement. When they have an indictment against you, they want to make a statement. Now, this is a stupid one because of Pam Bondi, but surprising you and arresting you before you turn yourself in, that's not completely out of the question. Normally they will. We'll ask Theresa. What do I know? We'll ask Theresa Goldner. And the House did pass the bill to reopen the government. The president this afternoon signed a $1.2 trillion funding bill. $1.2 trillion. It's crazy. Like, what are we going to be spending in 2050 when I'm eating worms? What is it going to be? 50, 60, 70, 100 trillion? What's after trillion, Chris Burdick? Gazillion? Gazillion? I don't know. Shame on the KHSD Board of Trustees. Once again, I was wrong. They had a trustee meeting and no one brought up Kathy Scrivener. And I put that on the board itself. I think the president of the board should say, I have a statement to make. Our sheriff believes that one of our trustees committed a crime. Therefore, until this thing is adjudicated, I think it's necessary for that board member to step aside or at least take a leave of absence. But nobody brought it up. A KHSD trustee who committed a crime, according to our sheriff, by telling her grandchildren not to cooperate with law enforcement, which is one of the basic tenets of our society. Nobody brought it up. Nobody brought it up. But guess who was there? John Hart, former photographer for the Bakersfield, California, award-winning photographer. I knew John in the 90s. He was an affable, likable guy who you would know whether he was a liberal or conservative or Democrat or Republican. Now, I believe John Hart has lost his ever-loving mind. He has turned into, hell, half my family are uber liberals. That's not my issue with John Hart. He has turned into a mean-spirited, angry, vicious individual. I don't know if you read his letter to the editor today. This target today was Vince Vaughn at the last KHSD meeting, not last night's, but the one a month ago. You know who his target was? Pastor Angelo Frazier, because he's ardently against the 10 Commandments in schools. Now, I'm against the 10 Commandments in schools, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse to attack Angelo Frazier. You should hear the things that he said about Angelo. We'll talk about Mr. Hart, and I'll read his letter to you in case you don't get the Californian. As I mentioned, BC Open starts next week. We're going to start our coverage today with the president of Bakersfield Country Club, my friend since he was 15 years old. Paul Guerra is going to join us, talk about the event that gets going on Monday with the Pro-Am. There's a practice round on Tuesday for the players, and then the tournament begins on Wednesday. There's a cut on Thursday, and the final day, and the check will be given out on Friday. We'll talk with Paul today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk with Chris Riley, who was a Ryder Cup player, a Walker Cup player, has won on the PGA Tour, won on the Korn Ferry Tour. And so we'll ask Paul the question that's probably on your minds. What the hell is he doing playing on the BC Open? I don't know whether he lost his tour card or what. And, you know, it's golf. Sometimes you got to start all over again. Sometimes you got to go back to Q school, qualifying school. But he is one of the bigger players that's going to be in the tournament. We're going to talk with him tomorrow. Then Thursday, we'll talk with Bhavik Patel, local kid and overall good egg and four-time champion of the BC Open. Friday, we're going to talk to BCC pro, the head pro, Jin Park. And then Monday, the day of the Pro-Am, we'll talk with Neil Batista, the guy who's begging to give me lessons. And I just can't stink it up in front of somebody I know. Like the one lesson I've taken that helped me get out of the Shanks, I went to Sundale because I only play there on Sundays and I rarely play with those guys now because it's so cold in the morning. But I don't want a lesson from somebody I get to see on the weekends and who knows me. And you know what I mean? Because I can just see Neil be like, so who'd you have today? You know that guy on the radio? Yeah. Bailey? Yeah. I had him today. Yeah, how's he? He talks a lot about golf. He sucks. He sucks. God, you should have seen him out there in the ball. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, because like when I asked him to come on the show, he was like, you finally give it in. You're gonna let me give you a lesson, huh? I go, no. Why don't you come on the show? Oh, that's right. I forgot about the. But I appreciate that, Neil. We're going to talk with him on Monday. And then we're just going to talk with random players during the week. It just depends on the scores, et cetera, et cetera. And infamy befalls us yet again. Our community. A fracas, the first criminal activity at the Hard Rock Casino, and it comes from our community. And of all the communities within our community, Shafter? And I know you can't can't clock crime by community. But isn't it fair to say that of all our communities, if you had to pick one that would be involved in such a fracas, it just wouldn't be Shafter. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But it made the New York Post. Pictures. I think the headline is Wild Casino Brawl in Bakersfield. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. These people try to bring a multi-million-dollar situation to our community, put some money in our pockets, let us enjoy some fun, and we don't know how to act. People rolling on the ground in a damn casino. We'll unpack that story as well. It is the third day of Black History Month, technically the second for us since we've been here 2 days. And today we're going to talk about Benjamin Elijah Mays, former president of Morehouse College, and the man really responsible for the rise of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was a mentor to Dr. King and longtime president of Morehouse College. We'll learn about him. As I explained yesterday, we are approaching Black History Month a little differently than I do in past years, where normally I just pick random known African Americans, Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson, James Baldwin, boop, 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 boop. This year I'm doing people you've never heard of, and I'm sure none of you have heard of Benjamin Elijah Mays. So we'll get into that. And I got a ton of miscellaneous news and notes. Maya Hernandez was in court today for the retrial decision on the death of her son, who she left in a car in the sun, temperatures of 104 degrees, and the young boy, Emilio Gutierrez, died. We'll get into that a little bit. And they've identified the boy that was killed in our friend's vehicle. You know, I almost called her today and see if she wanted to come on the show. But I was like, and I was going to lead with, I know this is a stupid question, Jane. It's not her name. But you want to come on the show and talk about your car getting stolen? And I mean, she must be when she found out about his death, that your vehicle was involved in somebody's dying, that's got to be emotional, especially for a woman. Oh, don't yell at me because I said it's because of woman. Like women aren't more emotional than men. Okay, fine. You're right. You're not. My bad. Men are just as emotional as women. You're right. Stupid me. But yeah, that's got to be. I'd be freaked out if somebody stole my car and they died in it. Yeah, freaked out. Like, damn. Had I not gone to the store, that 14 years old. He might still be alive. Not that it's her fault. I'm not even implying that. Don't think that. But just destiny and circumstances. It's just, you ever do that? I do that all the time. When something bad happens, I think to myself, if I had stayed in the house 5 more minutes, this whole destiny would be different. If I had dropped my keys on the way to the car, this whole destiny, if I missed the light or made the light. You ever seen that movie with Blythe Danner's daughter? I forget her name. What is it called? Where she misses the subway. She misses the subway in one situation scenario, and then she makes the subway in another scenario, something like Inside or Out or something like that. I don't know. Chris is looking it up, and somebody will text me in just a second. But we begin. Let's go. Oh, geez, it's 3:19. Let's go and take a break. We'll come back, and I'll break down the new evidence found in the Nancy Guthrie search, the good news and the bad news. Theresa Goldner at the bottom of the hour. I'll get into my ICE rant and play some audio for you. We'll talk about the House bill that's passed and what's next. It's only a 2-week continuing resolution, so the end is not over. We'll talk about the Board of Trustees on the current high school district decision to say nothing about Kathy Scrivener and her alleged criminality. And our good friend Paul Guerra from Bakersfield Country Club. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com. Holy Toledo. Holy Toledo. Sliding doors, yeah. Can you move it? You can move it? Sweet. What time are you running it? Okay, sweet. Thanks. Thanks.
It all started as tiny seeds needing care, love, and a little sunlight. And boom, we sprout, stretch, and grow through the world of childhood and teen years. Before you know it, we're blooming, working, parenting, thriving. And yes, even golden petals can shine bright. Join Kerr County Public Health to thrive like a poppy. Visit kerrpublichealth.com to learn more. This Valentine's Day, soft strokes, and the performance to last all 18 holes.
Whoa there. Get your mind out of the bunker and onto the green. It's the Central Coast Golf Cup, the only gift that guarantees everyone scores this Valentine's Day at 11 great California golf experiences. CentralCoastGolfCard.com. Love is a game played better on the coast. CentralCoastGolfCard.com.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
So, as I said earlier, there is good news and bad news in terms of what is going on with Nancy Guthrie, the mother of NBC Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie. The sheriff, every county doesn't have a Donnie Youngblood. And I don't mean to be critical, although that's all I'm going to do today. I'm angry today. I'm not in a good mood, and for good reason. But this sheriff, this Chris Nanos, when was the last time, Chris, there was a major press conference like that and I didn't give you any audio? The press conference was so bad, there was no audio to get from this thing. The guy came in, Chris Nanos, Pima County Sheriff, and says, "This is for you. Go ahead. Boo, 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 boo. I don't know. Yes, next question. Boo, 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 boo. No idea. Next question. Boo, 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 boo. We really don't know right now. Anybody else? No, I don't know." I'm like, dude, a press conference is to answer questions. If you have nothing to say, come out and say, "My name's Ralph Bailey. I'm the sheriff of Pima County. Unfortunately, we have no new information. There's nothing to put forward. There's no really questions to ask. All I can say is we need help. Here's our number, 520-351-4900. Again, who knows? Maybe there was a resident in Bakersfield that was in Arizona at the time. 520-351-4900. And just say there's nothing new. There's nothing new. But to stand up there and just say, I don't know. If it's Harriet that's missing, and that's the nitwit that's in charge, and all he's telling the press is, I don't know. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? The Guthrie family doesn't want to hear that. And they didn't want to hear yesterday when he said, well, she's off her meds and she could die within 24 hours if she doesn't get her meds. I'm like, would you just shut up? Please? Good googly moogly. The bad news is they found blood at the scene. That was new information that he barely touched upon. The good news is, as bizarre as this may sound, a ransom note is alleged to have come to TMZ. Why is that good news? Because you can't get paid unless the body is alive. Now, the other issue is she's 84 years old. She's been off her meds now for almost 72 hours. And let me tell you, someone who's on medication, if I miss my meds for a day, I'm panicked. Like yesterday, they didn't have my meds ready when I went to pick it up on my way to work. And all last night, I could think I have a stroke. I haven't taken my meds today, man. I do. I totally do. I remember once I went to Vegas, the night that remember when I got food poisoning? And it comes on. I'd never had food poisoning. And it comes on where your pulse, your heartbeat starts going crazy. And I had, because I have 5 meds that I take daily. 2 of them I take 3 times a day. So if I go out of town, I have to go, okay, there's 3 hydroxyline for Monday. There's 3 hydroxyline for Tuesday. There's 3 hydroxyline for Wednesday. There's 3 clonidine for Monday. Boo, 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 boo. And I miscounted. So I didn't have my drugs the day that I got sick, food poisoning. And I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought it was because I wasn't on my drugs. So imagine being 84 years old and off your meds. So that's not good. But the ransom note here is Harvey Levin from TMZ.
Something in our email that looks like it's written like a ransom note for Savannah Guthrie's mother. And
this point. And also, they say at the bottom there are certain things they're saying about what she was wearing and damage to the house.
That they're clearly saying to verify
It's us.
we know what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
So we've contacted the sheriff's department, and we want to get them this letter. We had a little trouble getting through to the right person, but the person we spoke with is now forwarding this to somebody in the detective bureau. So if my phone rings, I may have to stop it.
What's interesting is, there was just a news conference that just ended with the sheriff, and he was asked about. We're going to do this segment in a few minutes, but he was asked about a ransom note, and he just said, "We're following all leads."
Yeah, and it's again, we don't know.
We don't know if
it's
this is
authentic,
legit, right.
if it's authentic or not. But when you read it, they're acting as if, yeah, only we would know these things, and we're serious. And there's a dollar demand and an or else in there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think that's good news. I really do. Because in fact, I should have said that yesterday, that kidnapping is the best ending for this, in my opinion. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Why does he turn it down again at the end of the show?
He talks to people on YouTube. He'll look at the chat, kind of like you do during the show. He'll do it in between breaks because he turns the commercials off. You don't have plenty of lives, so we can't really do that.
Thank you, Lisa. Quick timeout. We're off to New York City or Brooklyn Heights. Theresa Goldner chiming in on Don Lemon's arrest. Is it constitutional? We'll find out next. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With us on the news, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump has signed a government funding bill that ends the partial federal shutdown that began over the weekend. It sets the stage for an intense debate in Congress over Homeland Security funding. The vote wraps up congressional work on 11 of the 12 annual appropriations bills, funding the vast majority of the government until September 30th. The White House says talks between Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Iranian officials are still planned after a Navy fighter jet shot down an Iranian drone that was approaching a U.S. aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea. U.S. Central Command said Tuesday the drone aggressively approached the aircraft carrier and kept flying toward it, despite de-escalatory measures taken by U.S. forces. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. Someone on the other end of the phone said they were going to shoot up campus at CSU Bakersfield Monday afternoon about 2:45. That caused a lockdown and an evacuation. The threat was deemed not credible, and today classes are back to normal. The city of Shafter may move its police headquarters to the old Shafter Modified Community Correctional Facility, which has been vacant since 2020. That would cost about $200K, and the decision may be made today by the council. In Bakersfield, the city manager will have one more virtual listening session tomorrow before making a decision on the next chief of police. 2 candidates remain, and they are both 20-plus-year veterans of the department. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Guy Picard.
Hi, my name is Guy Picard, and I am very happy that I found Paul Sheldon. What a relief it is trying to turn 65 and find somebody like him to help me navigate this industry. I think that it's really important that you look at all of the options that you have and then give Paul Sheldon a call, because he will create a plan that fits your budget and fits what you're trying to achieve as far as trying to get the best possible medical care that you can have. So I'd like to recommend Paul Sheldon to any of you out there that are trying to navigate the medical industry at turning 65. Give Paul Sheldon and his staff a call. They are awesome. And I'd just like to say, Paul and your whole entire staff, you guys rock.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk a little medicine with our friend Dr. Vip Dev. John Cox from the California will join us with a news quiz, and we'll back all of that up with state-of-the-art news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Because I'm happy. Come along if you feel like a room without.
We're off to Brooklyn Heights, New York, via the Rogers Brandon Global Telephone Network to talk to our Tuesday regular, former federal magistrate Judge Theresa Goldner. Just how cold is it?
Hi, Ralph. You know, it's pretty cold. It's I think it was 30 degrees today, so it warmed up a little bit. But the first day we were here, it was like, I don't know, like 5 degrees, 10 degrees. It was freezing. And when we got here, you know, our apartment overlooks the East River between Manhattan and Brooklyn. The river was frozen, and there were no boats on the river because they couldn't go anywhere because it was frozen.
The river was frozen.
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
I've never heard of that.
I hadn't either. Usually when you get here, you know, there's all these boats going back and forth, and it's really fun to watch it. And there was nothing. And then finally they had brought in some big boats that kind of broke up some of the ice on the river. And then some of the boats have been able to go through, some of the big ones like the ferries and some of the big barges, but not that many.
Wow.
So it's pretty quiet here.
That's crazy. Have you been out? What's it like? I don't think I've ever been in 5-degree temperature.
It was very cold, but you know what? When it's cold like that, all you got to do is just, you know, pile on all the clothes and dress in layers, and it's fine when you get out there. So it's actually kind of fun. I mean, there's snow all over the place, and the snow they finally clear off some of the sidewalks, and then there's these big, you know, mountains of snow next to the road and next to the sidewalk, and they freeze. And so if you touch them, they're hard as a rock. So it's not like you can put your foot in it and, you know, go down in the snow. It's like a ice rock.
Yeah, the biggest problem with winter to me is not the snow, it's not the cold, it's the ice. It makes driving impossible. It makes walking difficult. I mean, how many times have you seen people coming down steps and, you know, their bottom of their shoes are up in the air next thing you know?
Oh, yeah, I've seen a couple people slip and fall in ice. It's pretty scary. And what do they call that? Black ice? You can't really see it sometimes. It looks like it's the road, but it's really not.
And, you know, at my age, you know, you do make a fall like that and you're getting a new hip. You know what I'm saying?
You're not that old, Mr. Bailey.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, stop.
Yes, I am. Don Lemon was on Jimmy Kimmel last night. Before we get into the legalities, do you agree with me that this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to Don Lemon since he got hired at CNN? Unbelievable.
Well, it has certainly put him back in the public eye. That's for sure. I'm sure he's going to make a lot of money off of it.
Oh, of course he is.
But I think he's going to get convicted, and I think he's not going to be smiling about this maybe a year from now.
I rarely disagree with you, and I would be ridiculous to disagree with you on the law. But as Sadie Bailey used to say, Theresa, you done lost your mind.
You think he's it's going to be not guilty?
No, there's no chance. There's no chance.
I don't know, Ralph. Have you seen the videos that he took?
Yes,
that he
and it's egregious. I think he was a part of it. I think that he encouraged it. I think that he wasn't covering it. He was part of it. He kissed the organizer. He thanked her. At one point, there's audio that I should have sent Chris where he says, "Our operation."
Yeah.
That disqualifies you as a journalist. When you include
Absolutely.
yourself in the story, because the one of the fundamental rules of journalism is never make yourself part of the story. Never, never. And when he says our operation, that's where he lost me. That's where he lost me. And I even went on the air yesterday and said, you know, as a former journalist, as a fellow journalist, you would think, and my inclination is to support him, because I can't say he's not a journalist, not in the 21st century. Not when you can carry a phone and a police scanner and call yourself a journalist. You know what I'm saying?
Well, isn't everybody a journalist today?
Essentially, yes. That's what I'm getting at. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Exactly.
Right.
And everybody's got a camera, and everybody's got, I mean, we had a scuffle. I don't know if you read about it in the New York Post, but we had a scuffle that ended up in a stabbing at the Hard Rock already. And guess where it came from, Theresa?
Where?
Our community.
No.
Yes.
What was it? What happened?
It was a fight that ended up in a stabbing in the parking lot. It was 3 people from Shafter arrested, and I forget where I was going with this, to be honest with you. But
Are you talking about at the new casino?
Yes, at the Hard Rock.
Oh, I am so sorry to hear that.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
It's in today's New York Post.
Wow.
It made the New York Post.
I have to read it.
I don't know how they got a hold of it already, or why they think it's an extraordinary story. But
did you know that there's now a California Post?
I did know that.
Yeah, I think it just started, didn't it?
Last week.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, so what you're talking about, Ralph, though, you're talking about journalistic ethics. Don't make yourself part of the story.
Yes.
But what I'm talking about is, even if he is a journalist, and I put that in quotation marks, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, because he still violated the law, because he went into a place that was private property, a church, without permission. So that was criminal trespass. And he interfered and obstructed people in their worship service. And that makes it a crime. Those are 2 crimes that he committed, actually. So even if he is a journalist, he's still not off the hook, as far as I'm concerned, under the law. You know, he was charged with violating 2 different federal statutes. The first one, I think it's kind of interesting what they call it, the KKK Act. Have you heard it called that before?
No, is that the FACE Act?
No, that's a different one. The first one is, they call it the KKK Act. It's called Conspiracy Against Rights Statute. It's Title 18, United States Code, Section 241. That's the criminal statutes. And that makes it illegal to conspire, to injure, oppress, or intimidate somebody in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right protected by the Constitution or a federal statute. Now, that's the biggie, because when I say biggie, that's the more serious one, because a violation of that can be punished as a felony. And under the federal sentencing guidelines, that has a potential 10-year sentence. That's the big one.
Yeah.
So if I were him, I'd be worried about that. And then the second one that he was charged with is what you referred to as the FACE Act. And FACE means Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. It was enacted in 1994. And it also includes, there's a provision in there that says it includes interfering with someone's access to church services, which is also what he did here. And I think it's shown by the videos that he's been posting exactly what happened when they went into those churches. I mean, not only did they interfere and disrupt services, but they kept people from getting to their children. They really terrified people. I think one woman was so scared she was running out of the church and she fell down and broke her arm. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
so I just don't see how he's going to get out of that.
Some of the parishioners thought it was a shooter. They thought they were being invaded by some kind of terrorist organization.
I don't blame him. I mean, I would have been scared too if I were them. I heard that what I read was that I watched some of the videos. They were yelling at the kids, telling the kids that their parents were Nazis, and just really freaking people out in the middle of a church service.
Yeah. And
Don Lemon should have known better than that.
Of course he should have. But he doesn't care.
As a journalist, doesn't any journalist know better than that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Most are ethical and have a sense of right and wrong. But this guy doesn't care. He doesn't work for anybody. so he can do whatever the hell he wants.
That's right. But I see what really gets me about this is, you know, everybody has a constitutional right to worship in peace, a federal constitutional right to worship in peace. But you also have a statutory right to worship in peace. So he violated both of those, I think, in a very big, obvious way. You know, in my opinion, he willfully, you know, fully, intentionally entered into that church knowing what was planned.
Yes.
You know, they had the video about what he was talking about. I think he called them MAGA coded protesters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they knew what they were doing, and they knew why they were doing it, and they went and executed their, like you called it, they called it an operation, exactly as planned, and he was part of it from the beginning.
Yes, he was. Yes,
so
he was.
Tell me why you think he's not going to be found guilty.
Well, let me ask you, and then I'll give you my answer. Why did the federal magistrate judge throw it out initially?
Well, first I want to say something about this federal magistrate judge. His wife works for Keith Ellison, who is
the AG in Minnesota.
Yes.
Wow.
And his wife
didn't know that.
Things, you know, his wife has been posting things on X and social media, supporting all these protesters against ICE and these activities that have been going on. So what the magistrate judge found was that there wasn't enough probable cause to sign off on this complaint against him. But all that means is that happens a lot. Sometimes the first time they come to a magistrate judge with a complaint, and I'm talking about a criminal complaint, the magistrate judge's job is to review it and see if there's probable cause to believe that a crime has been committed and that the defendant is the person who committed the crime. It's a pretty low standard, but in this case, the magistrate judge felt that there wasn't enough there at that point. So the first thing that the DOJ did, Department of Justice prosecutors, is they went to the magistrate judge's boss, who was the chief district judge, who looked at it and said, and they asked him to order the magistrate judge to sign the complaint, or to order the district judge to sign the complaint to approve it. And the district judge basically said, why are you coming to me with all this stuff? Your remedy, prosecutors, is you've got two things you can do. You can go back and beef up your complaint with more facts to prove that there's probable cause, to believe that he committed this crime. Or you can go to a grand jury and get a grand jury indictment. Those are the two ways in federal court that you can bring criminal charges against somebody. And so what they did was, I think they probably went out and did some more investigation, because they came back, I think it was 8 days later, with the grand jury indictment. So they went to a Minnesota grand jury, and the grand jury issued the indictment against Don Lemon and others. There's other people that were also arrested. So the fact that that one particular magistrate judge didn't think that there was probable cause really, to me, is pretty meaningless, even though the media is making it sound like it's a really big deal. In reality, it's really not. It just means, hey, I think you're too thin on your facts. You got to come back and do it again. That's something that, I did that when I was a magistrate judge. It doesn't mean that the person didn't do it or that there wasn't a crime. It just means that there wasn't enough to establish it at that point based on the information that's in the affidavit that supports the complaint.
I just believe, yes, absolutely. And I hope you're right. I pray you're right. I've never wanted to be wrong more in my life. I hope I'm dead wrong. I hope they throw the book at him. And as I've said all week, I wish he'd try that at a mosque. I wish he'd try that at a Black Baptist church. I wish he'd try that at a temple. It'd be gargantuan news. There'd be a whole different look at it. But we had somebody text in and say that the people in the church are all white supremacists.
Oh my goodness.
Some Bakersfield resident who couldn't name anybody in that church, couldn't pick anybody out in a lineup. If I put 50 people in front of you, the person that texted us and said that couldn't pick out anybody in a lineup and say they belong to that church. But Lemon has put the word out saying this. We've got audio. I can play it for you. I'll play it after we get off with you, where he's calling them entitled white supremacists. And he had an unethical bias that geared this whole thing. That was the locomotion behind the whole damn thing. And he was well aware of it. And it was that old Vegas story that I tell about the gangbanger who's got a gold medallion, says JD on it. And one of his boys comes up to him as he's playing blackjack and goes, JD, what's up, boy? And he goes, hey, don't you see I'm trying to play the down low? And he's got a chain around his neck that says JD. Lemon goes in there, and if you notice, he flipped it up, but at first he's got his beanie has lemon written on the top of it. And he's in the car saying, and then afterwards he's like, I don't know, why did they pick me out? Why did they pick me out? Why am I the face of this thing? And he says, and my producers tell me, well, you're a black gay man. No, you got lemon written on your damn beanie. Who puts their name on their beanie?
He needs to look in the mirror.
No kidding. He's just
oh my goodness.
He's just
well,
a
narcissistic. This is all going to be about this is going to be about what did he know, when did he know it, and but the problem for him is it's all on video.
Yes.
And that video is going to get played so many times during the trial.
Yep.
It's going to be played by the prosecutors. It's going to be played on cross-examination. I mean, I just don't see how he can get out of it. I don't see how he's going to be able to dodge this one.
I can't wait till the prosecution asks him, what did you mean, Mr. Lemon, by our operation? Because that has to be a question.
Yes.
You know?
They're going to peel the onion with him. And, you know, when he talks about the jury pool, you said that, you know, he said some things about the people that were in the church. Well, sadly for him, the jury pool in federal court is taken from the division and the district that it's actually filed in. So his jury is going to be a lot of the same people or the same kind of people that were in the church that day. Not a smart move for him.
Well, you've given me hope. It's the first time I've thought he might get convicted. I hope you're right.
I think he is.
I hope you're right.
To bet you that he'll be convicted. Do you want to bet? Want to bet lunch? You
don't
always win the bet. Wait, I win the legal bets. You always win the political bet.
You owe me lunch, as I remember, but
I do. I know. I think I do.
I won't hold that against you. Yeah, I'm willing to go double or nothing.
Okay.
I'm absolutely willing to go double or nothing.
So you're saying not guilty.
Yes,
and
because
I'm saying guilty.
Only because I think judges and even juries are hinky about jailing journalists. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you can say he's not a journalist in this era, as you said, where everybody with a phone is a journalist. Right. You know, we've got this current activities thing going on, I don't know, are you aware of this, current activities? It's on the internet. And from what I can tell, it's just a guy with a phone and a police scanner. And he gets there right around the time that the police do, and he makes it a news thing, and he beats all the stations.
Oh, yes, I have heard. Yes, I know what you're talking about on social media.
Yeah. Right. That guy doesn't have a journalism degree. I'd be willing to bet.
No, but
he's a journalist.
Anybody can call themselves a journalism now.
Exactly.
A journalist now. If you've got a phone and a mouse.
And I think people are reluctant to jail journalists. I think we're afraid, as well we should be, to infringe on the First Amendment and the right of the press. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope they do throw the book at him, because he would never try that at a mosque. He would never try that at a temple, and he would never try that at a Black Baptist church. Never.
Well,
never.
It's interesting because, like what you were saying, you know, it's really an entirely different question about whether prosecuting him is good policy or maybe even good for the country. Because, of course, we want to have a courageous press, because that's going to be a cornerstone of the First Amendment, and of course, so important to our democracy. But
we have no democracy without journalism, in my opinion. We have no democracy.
I agree.
None.
But here, we're not dealing with just freedom of the press. We're dealing with something that's very unusual. You know, you got people like him and the church protesters. They claim to be exercising their First Amendment freedom, but at the same time, they were preventing other people from exercising their First Amendment freedom, their right to worship in the church. And so, you know, which way does it cut when you go to a jury and the jury has to decide, you know, what they're going to do on this? I think it's going to come down to something that's very cut and dried. I don't mean to make a pun, but I think it's very black and white that, in fact, he violated the statute, in my opinion. I think he violated both of them. And those are criminal statutes.
I hope you're right.
He could be prosecuted either as a misdemeanor under the FACE Act or as a felony with a 10-year possible sentence under the KKK Act.
Well, let's hope it's the latter. Let me make it clear, too. I do believe that the protesters will be definitely found guilty. No question about it. Hands down. But I think because he is a well-known journalist, they're going to give him a pass as a journalist. They're going to say he's merely chronicling it when he was one of the organizers. If you ask me,
famous people shouldn't be. I always thought that famous people kind of get dealt with harsher once they get in front of a jury.
Well, no, I'm saying he's famous as a journalist. He's not some podcaster. He worked for one of the biggest news organizations on the planet, literally.
CNN. That's right.
There's no bigger news organization.
Were you familiar with one of the woman defendants? Her name is Georgia Fort.
His producer. Yes.
Yeah, but she owns a media company called Black Press.
Very familiar with her. Yes, very familiar with her.
Do you think that's going to get her off the hook?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Yes, I do. Unfortunately.
Because she's black, or because she's a journalist?
Because she's a journalist. I think they're afraid to put limits and squash covering events. You know what I'm saying? What if you're embedded in a civil rights protest and the group gets arrested and you're among them? Are you part of the criminality of that group that you're embedded in?
I think it's going to depend on how far you went. So let's take a hypo really quick if I have time.
Absolutely.
Imagine that a journalist did all the stuff that he did, but the event that was being planned was not, interrupting a church service, but it was a murder, right?
Right.
If it was a murder and he brought his cameras in there and all that sort of stuff, if he's an accomplice to that, videotaping the criminal act and then streaming it live doesn't insulate him or make him immune from prosecution.
Well, I brought that up.
Different level of crime.
Have you seen the movie Network? 1976.
Long time ago.
Faye Dunaway, William Holden, and it's a similar story where they start airing live. It was during the whole SLA kidnapping of Patty Hearst.
Symbionese Liberation Army.
Thank you. And how they embedded somebody to follow. They paid this group to commit crimes so they could air them. And this is essentially, in some ways, what this is about. And I use that same example that you used. I said that if I was embedded with some bank robbers and they were going to go rob a bank and I just went along and filmed it, I'm an accomplice. I should go to jail.
That's right. And so just being a journalist doesn't mean that you're immune from criminal prosecution. That doesn't protect you. That's not an invisible armor that you have. So
I'm aware of that.
That's why I think he's not going to be. I don't think he's going to. I think he is going to be convicted.
Well, I hope you're right. I really do. I really do, because he is just basking in this. Absolutely basking.
Lawyer is, right?
Abby Lowell.
That's right. How many times have we talked about Mr. Lowell?
I mean, he gets so much work, and it's all high profile. It's all celebrities. What's his list now? Hunter Biden.
Hunter Biden. He also was. What's the case that was in front of?
We were just talking about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the case now.
I can't remember either. We were just talking about it, though.
A couple of weeks. But he wasn't the one that argued the case in front of the Supreme Court. He represented women right up to the Supreme Court, but he wasn't the one that actually did the arguments. But,
so you think they're going to
about the LGBTQ, the women in sports?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
The transgenders athletes.
Yeah,
that was the one.
So you think he's going to lose? That's another reason I don't think he's going to get convicted. You think Abby Lowell's going to lose?
Sure. Abby Lowell lost the Hunter Biden case.
Well, look who he had for a client. Good Google it, move.
I know.
I mean,
he got his back
Perry Mason couldn't get Hunter Biden off. That no good son of a... Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I again, like I say, I hope you're right. I really do. I really do.
It'll be fun, and then either you owe me, either I'll be evened up on how much I owe you for lunch, or we'll have to start over again.
All right. Very good. I hope you get to start over again for two reasons.
That's what I'm doing tonight after this.
What are you doing tonight, Theresa?
I am going to get on the subway, and I'm going to go over to Manhattan, to Madison Square Garden, and I'm going to watch the dog show over there, meeting my daughter and some friends over there. It's the Westminster Kennel Club dog show.
It's a classic. They made a movie out of it. Are you getting on? Are you getting? Well, you've never seen Dog Show? What is it called? With Levy and the woman that just died. Who just died? Catherine O'Hara. You ever seen that movie?
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
It's called. What's it called, Chris?
I'm so excited. Tonight is the finals, and they're going to do Best in Show.
Best in Show. That's what it's called.
Doing the Working Dogs.
Theresa, you just named the movie. That's what it's called. Best in Show.
Best in Show. Okay,
that's the movie. Yeah, it's pretty funny, as I remember. Eugene Levy, Catherine, the woman that just died, Catherine O'Hara, is in it, and it's a pretty funny movie, actually.
They were on that show, on that series Schitt's Creek together. I love that show.
Yeah. Hey,
funny.
we've got 2 minutes. Can I ask you an off-the-cuff question?
Sure.
If you can, in 2 minutes, explain how in the world the defense in the Charlie Kirk case is trying to get the prosecution to recuse itself simply because one of the prosecutor's daughters was at the university the day of the shooting. How is that a conflict of interest? I don't understand. And I watched.
Well, they might be. I don't know. I'm just because I haven't read about this, so I'm not fully informed on it. But just purely speculating on the radio, I think
it's what we do.
If that's what they're arguing, they're probably just saying he's too emotionally involved and he can't be objective. That's it. You know, prosecutors are supposed to be objective when they prosecute cases. And that's probably what they're saying. Legally, is that enough to get him thrown off the case? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And they were bringing up the fact that they were trying to get the death penalty from the get-go before they even had a suspect, and that shows their bias. Fox aired some of the hearing. They were the only ones to air it this morning. It was interesting. And then they
follow that.
I know.
I have another case I want to follow with you. Are you ready?
Yeah, what do you got?
Have you read about the former Starbucks executive that claimed that she was fired after she reported that there were maggots in the coffee preparation system at Starbucks?
No.
Oh, it's all over the news now. That's one that we got to talk about. She's suing for wrongful termination. She's saying that she complained to the powers that be at Starbucks about what was going on with this system that they put in place, that they've since suspended using it, but then she ended up getting terminated, and she claims it was all a pretext. But she claimed that they were putting on a presentation for some investors, and they were showing the investors how it worked, and allegedly maggots fell out of the machine into the coffee cups and onto the counter, and so they just kind of quietly sort of swept it away so the investors couldn't see it.
Wow.
And she reported it, and then she finds that she got fired.
Wow. I got a hard break. It is. I got to get out of here, Theresa. Have fun. Enjoy the dog show. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says that despite the current heightened atmosphere between Iran and the United States, talks are still on the books.
These talks, as of right now, are still scheduled. President Trump is always wanting to pursue diplomacy first, but obviously it takes two to tango. You need a willing partner to achieve diplomacy, and that's something that Special Envoy Witkoff is intent on exploring and discussing. As always, though, of course, the president has a range of options on the table with respect to Iran.
Talks are happening despite a Navy fighter jet shooting down an Iranian drone that was approaching a U.S. aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea. The U.S. military says the shoot-down occurred within hours of another incident in which Iranian forces harassed a U.S.-flagged merchant vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. Former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify in a House investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
After first refusing to comply with a House subpoena to testify, the Clintons agreed to appear before the House Oversight Committee. The announcement came as GOP lawmakers were preparing to launch contempt of Congress proceedings against the Clintons. The former president has never been accused of wrongdoing in connection with Epstein, but had a well-documented friendship with the convicted sex offender. Greg Clugston, Washington.
President Trump has signed a government funding bill that ends the partial federal shutdown that began over the weekend and sets the stage for an intense debate in Congress over Homeland Security funding. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 166 points, the Nasdaq dropped 336, the S&P 500 lower by 58. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is Dennis Prager for AmFed Coin and Bullion. There's something about the feel of the gold coin in your hand and the way the light reflects off its intricate details that has always captivated me. Nick Grovich, AmFed's owner, turned that same passion into his livelihood. Nick began collecting coins as a teen, and that interest grew into a nationally respected business offering only the finest quality coins at the most competitive prices. But the truth is that although Nick is a rare coin dealer, he doesn't believe in rare coins. Rare coins do not make sound investments, but they do make dealers a lot of money. See, that's part of what I respect about him. AmFed specializes in buying non-performing numismatic coins and turning them into gold or silver investments that provide liquidity and perform competitively against the market. Whether you're buying or selling, call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Back to business at Cal State Bakersfield. I'm Chris Davis. That is after a threat from an anonymous person who said they were going to shoot up the campus and then blow themselves up. That came in about 2:45 Monday afternoon and proved not to be credible, according to police. But that threat had people first sheltered in place, then evacuated, and then classes canceled for the rest of the day while police did their due diligence checking it out. No arrests have been announced. Maya Hernandez gets another week before she is sentenced on the child endangerment charges on which she was convicted in the incident where her 1-year-old son died in a hot car. That decision was made by a judge this morning who is also taking more time to decide whether she will be tried again on a murder charge in the death of Emilio. Her trial last year ended when the jury couldn't make a unanimous decision on her guilt. A couple of police decisions to be made. One is in Shafter, where the city council is set to decide today whether they will move the city's police headquarters to the former Shafter Modified Community Correctional Facility, which has been in disuse since 2020. The renovation would cost about $200,000. They may also use it as a temporary place for the city's IT department. Another decision will be made by Bakersfield City Manager Christian Clegg, and that is who the next chief of police will be. He tells KGET he has it down to 2 candidates. They are Assistant Chief Brent Stratton, who has been with the department for more than 20 years. Another is Assistant Chief Jeremy Moore, who is also a more than 20-year department veteran. Clegg says the decision will be made by the end of the month. He plans one more virtual listening session tomorrow night to gather community input. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. You see the windsock? That thing is dangling straight down. There's not a breath of wind outside. Temperatures in the upper 60s, if not lower 70s. Why am I not on a golf course? Good googly moogly. Just hope I don't do what I did Saturday. And no, I'm not sharing that story. That's a story that's, I think I told Chris, I might have told JR, I think I told Randy, but that story ain't going very far. It's a funny story, but I like playing at BCC. I'm not letting that story get out. Well, I want to thank Theresa Goldner for joining us on her vacation. She's joined us. She's going to be in New York again next Tuesday when we speak with her. We appreciate her talking with us via the Rogers Brandon Global Telephone Network. Mark Swain checking in. Let's go. Sorry, Mark. It's still freezing at 8 o'clock in the morning, man. I played at 11 on Saturday, and I woke up at 8 o'clock Saturday morning and looked outside and didn't think I was going to play at 11 because it was foggy and cold. And that's what I said when I got to the golf course. I was asking everybody that was up there, I was like, why is it sunnier in the Northeast than it is downtown? Because even when I left, we had 11 o'clock tea time. I left the house at 10 o'clock and it was still foggy downtown. By the time I got to Beale, it looked like this.
Yeah.
Blue skies, sunshine. And I'm like, it's a foggy day in London town, downtown. but out here, it's like Los Angeles. It was weird. So no, Mark, I ain't making it. I'm about 2 or 3 weeks away from playing with you guys at 8 in the morning because it's just I just can't do it. I just can't, man. I hate the cold. And I was overdressed Saturday. I had on like a long sleeve T-shirt and one of my long sleeve Izods, and then I had a cover. So I took the cover off, and then I thought I put a collared shirt in my bag, and I forgot. So when we made the turn at like 1 o'clock, I'm like dying, and I would later die further. But again, that story is staying with me. I might tell it someday. I'm sure I will. But I hope Theresa's right. I hope they throw the book at Don Lemon, meaning the jury. I hope he's found guilty. But I think there is a penchant for siding with journalists in this situation so as not to hamper or put restrictions on journalism. There is a reason that the First Amendment is the First Amendment. Now, I hear what you're screaming, you Christians, you non-heathens, you. Ralph, freedom of religion is also part of the First Amendment. I'm well aware of that. I've read the Constitution. I really have. But I just think we err on the side of journalism on this thing. I don't think that as much of a part of it as he was. And again, when the prosecution asks him the question, well, he won't testify. I don't know. Maybe he will. With his narcissism, he'll probably demand that he testify. He's got that kind of just absolutely narcissistic belief in himself. But I hope she's right. But there's no way. No way in the world. That'll be Luigi's. And then where else should I have her take me to lunch? Luigi's, maybe Pyrenees. There are like some restaurants I can't even go to now. I'm so panicked about my diet, worried about my prostate, my A1C, and just all kind of nonsense. I don't know if you guys saw it today, but victims of ICE, meaning U.S. American citizens, testified today before a panel of senators on the abuse of ICE agents. And I don't care what you think of me. I really don't. I really, really don't. I'm in the twilight of my life. I'm in the twilight of my career. And if you want to hate me and call me a Democrat, a liberal, woke, whatever, that's fine. My mama loves me. But this has to stop. I don't see how any American citizen can look at the video that I've seen, some of which I'm about to play, and think that this is okay. And you guys know, if you're a loyal listener, even semi-regularly, that one of the constant themes of this show is stay away from the Third Reich. Stay away from the Nazis. But you know what? Based on a lot of the video that I saw over the weekend and the 3 ones that I pulled for today for the show, I understand the parallel that they're making. It's not that these guys are Nazis, but they're using Gestapo tactics. Let me give you an example. Let me just give you an example if you think I'm nuts. Let me just really quickly pull up some audio. And you tell me, does this sound like America to you? Because this doesn't sound like the America that I grew up in. It just doesn't. And it can't go on. It just can't continue. Listen to this tete-a-tete. Is this the America that y'all grew up with?
Why are you asking me for my paperwork? Because of your accent. You have an accent too. Where were you born, sir? Where were you born at? Put your hands behind your back.
Ramon Monero was detained by U.S. Border Patrol agents outside his home in a Minneapolis suburb after an agent questioned whether he was a citizen because of his accent.
I'm from this country. You know what, sir? Now talking to you, hearing that you have an accent, I have reason to believe that you are not born of this country. So you just made an accent? What country are you from?
According to Monero, agents took a photo of him and searched a system that indicated he's been a U.S. citizen since 2019. They also checked his U.S. passport card, which he keeps in his wallet, before letting him go. Monero, who was born in Mexico and obtained a U.S. passport in 2021, was detained in front of his 5-year-old daughter.
Well, she was shaking when I got in the home, and she's like, "Are you okay? That we're gonna take you. I don't want to lose you." And I'm like, "You're not gonna lose me." Even though I'm a citizen, I'm still afraid because they don't care if you're a citizen or not. And especially because I know I have a really strong accent speaking English, I know I can be a target because that's who are they targeting just because.
Okay, I don't care what he has to say. I really don't care what he has to say. But does that sound like America to you? And that's the parallel that they're using. Because I don't know if you were smoking weed during history class, but that's what the Gestapo did. That's what the SS did, where they would go around and hunt for Jews, and you had to prove that you weren't a Jew. And they would ask for your papers. And if you couldn't prove that you weren't a Jew, you were a Jew. And guess where you ended up? On those trains. And guess where those trains were headed? To things they call camps. And guess what were at those camps? Ovens. Now, I'm not comparing. Again, this is why I say stay away from the Third Reich, because that is an unequal comparison. But the statement, I have a right to ask you where you're from because of your accent, is that America? And I think these guys are acting with immunity. They are a little drunk with power. It's human nature. That's not an attack on ICE. You give me a badge and a gun and a mask and some camouflage and tell me to go arrest people, I'm going to get a little out of control. It's human nature. A little power goes to people's heads. That's not something specific to cops. That's human nature. Here's Aliyah Rahman, who I bet you all have seen. It's video, because again, you didn't even see the video of that. The audio I just showed you, you didn't see the video where they grab this guy, this U.S. citizen, slam him up against the garage door and slap him on the handcuffs in front of his 5-year-old and take him to the truck. And don't forget my thesis that it's just poor training. And I know what you're saying, and you should be saying it. Ralph, what the hell do you know about police training? Well, I do know this. I know that if I'm carrying a gun and BPD stops me for whatever reason, and I do something threatening like, I don't know, kick out their brake light, one of the first things they're going to do is ask me, do you have a weapon on you, sir? Take your hands out of your pocket, sir. I got a little experience in this situation. I'm ashamed to say. But these cats encountered Alex Preddy 11 days before he was shot. He kicked out their brake light. They roughed him up, but they didn't even pat him down. If Stephen Miller was right, if Kristi Noem was right, and Alex Preddy was an assassin, if Greg Bovino was right, that he came down there to cause mass casualties amongst the ICE agents, they'd be dead. Because they encountered the guy, he had his gun on him, they roughed him up, threw him to the ground, and walked slowly back to their car. He could have easily pulled out his gun and shot them all. Why? Because they weren't trained. I mean, Sheriff, if you're listening, tighten me up if I'm wrong. You don't pat a guy down that you come in contact with, a suspect? You don't find out whether he's got a weapon? And Preddy had a weapon. Let's get back to Aliyah Rahman. She's the woman that you've probably seen getting dragged out of her car. They cut her seatbelt out, dragged her out of her car, threw her on the ground, and arrested her. She came before the panel today. She's a U.S. citizen. Here's what she had to say.
On January 13th, on the way to my 39th appointment at Hennepin County's Traumatic Brain Injury Center, I encountered a traffic jam caused by ICE vehicles and no signs indicating how to get around it. I had not wanted to pull into a blocked, chaotic intersection, but verbally agreed to do so and rolled down my window after an agent yelled, "Move! I will break your effing window!" His first instruction. Agents on all sides of my vehicle yelled conflicting threats and instructions that I could not process while watching for pedestrians. Then the glass of the passenger side window flew across my face. I yelled, "I'm disabled," at the hands grabbing at me, and an agent said, "Too late."
I know what you're saying. Ralph, you're right. This is the liberal Democrat in you. You were raised and born a Democrat, and it's showing. And you may not like me. You may not like what I have to say, but I bet you like Joe Rogan.
Then they start showing up at Home Depot. Instead of like looking for gangbangers, looking for criminals and cartel members, they go to whatever's easiest pickings so they can get numbers up. There's do you know Ed Calderon? Do you know who he is? He worked. He was a Mexican military guy who now is an American citizen, but he reports extensively on the cartels, and just was telling me some horror stories about ICE raids. And one of them was they took this guy who had been brought over here when he was a baby, but didn't have American citizenship. His family, came over here illegally, lived here for 20 years, can't speak Spanish. They deport him, send him to Tijuana. Can't speak Spanish. Does not speak Spanish. He is essentially an American citizen. He just never lived anywhere else. He just doesn't have the paperwork. He's not a criminal. They sent him over to Tijuana, and now he has to live in Mexico. He doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I guess I didn't listen to the whole thing.
I got it.
Listen. Trump could have owned this. And if they had strictly, this is the point I'm trying to make. These guys are poorly trained. They're out of control. They're picking on, as Joe Rogan said, not Ralph Bailey, Joe Rogan says, low-hanging fruit. And if Trump had simply narrowed this to gangbangers and thieves and murderers and criminals, hardened criminals, his approval rating would be in the 50s. But the one issue that we have owned, the one issue that got him back into the White House because of the incredible job he's done on the border, as opposed to Uncle Fluffy, who told us he couldn't do anything without Congress. The Trump administration has frittered this thing away, and now we are hanging on for dear life just to make it to the midterms. Hell, we passed the damn government shutdown. We avoided a government shutdown by literally one vote. Mike Johnson loses one vote this morning, and the government's still shut down. And we have frittered away the immigration debate because more and more people, do you know that 59% of the American public say that ICE has gone too far? 71% of independents say that ICE has gone too far. Republicans can't win without independents. You can't. The numbers aren't there. And we have absolutely frittered away this winning issue and just absolutely handed it to Democrats because the videos are startling. And the questions that these guys are asking and the way they're going about it is out of control, in my opinion. And it's shifting massively toward the liberal stance on this thing. That's why I sound like a liberal, because I'm with them on this. I really am. And that's why you see Tom Homan in Minnesota. That's why the Trump administration, I'll give them credit for being smart enough to shift gears. But there's got to be, do you realize that Minneapolis is about the size of our city? And they've got 3,000 agents. Can you imagine if there were 3,000 ICE agents in Bakersfield? They'd be on every block. They'd be everywhere. And they're just going around making random, I've got some more audio of just random checks in neighborhoods, asking people where they're born. It just doesn't sound like law enforcement in the United States of America, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back. I've got some more audio to play for you. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll get to the House passing that $1.27 trillion funding bill. 217, 214. Johnson loses one vote, and the government is still shut down. Do you realize now that Marjorie's gone and another congressman is in the hospital, that the majority in the Senate is bigger than the majority in the House? We're in deep doo-doo. Because I'll remind you yet again, if or when Democrats win the midterms, lights out, baby. First thing they do, kill the filibuster. The president mentioned it again today, that we should kill the filibuster right now and get on top of this thing before the midterms. But they're going to get rid of the filibuster, and they're going to, first thing they do, once they get it to a majority vote simply in the Senate, what is 9 and minus 15 minus 9 is 6. They're going to add 6 more jurists to the Supreme Court. Then they're going to screw around, I almost cursed. They're going to screw around and make D.C. and Puerto Rico a state. They'll have 52 votes. They'll get it through the House. Bing, bang, bong. The conservative majority is gone. And we're going to look back and scratch our heads and say, how did that happen? Because you had a winning issue and you pissed it away. Let's call a spade a spade. No racial intention meant there. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. Paul Guerra, president of Bakersfield Country Club, joins us at 5. You're listening to TRBS on a Tuesday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 K.
Messmaker.
Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. We will break down the absolute latest ongoing tensions in Iran. What is going to happen there? Plus, Minneapolis basically becoming a no-go zone. What do we think is going to occur there? All that and more, plus the usual hijinks and drama. You won't want to miss it. Make sure you come hang with us on the Wednesday edition of Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hope you be with us on Thursday when Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors joins us. He joins us every Thursday at 4:30. And you know what Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about? They're all about retirement. And for many of us, we're staring at dead in the mug, and it's time to make plans. If you're over 50, it's time to start thinking about retirement. So call Daniel today at 395-9400, 395-9400. And of course, you know why he's important to the program. He brings not only economic knowledge, but political savvy that can explain what's going on with the shutdown bill and inside the Beltway and how it impacts your wallet. Call him today at 395-9400, 395-9400. Daniel Petrie with Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future, option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWAE, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans pay the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this. LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way. 1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
I was ordering food from our usual place for the big meeting. My VP said, please God, no.
For workplaces suffering with corporate catering deficiency, every day's a struggle.
The food was always meh and over budget. Before Easy Cater, I thought that was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat CCD with a huge variety of restaurants, help meet dietary needs, and stay on budget. Use daily. One platform lets you save time and thrive. Ask your web browser about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Shackled by forgotten words and bonds, and the ink stains that are dried upon some line. That keeps you in the back roads by the rivers of my memory. It keeps you ever gentle on my mind. It's not clinging to the rocks and ivy planted on their columns now that bind me.
Glenn Campbell.
Or something that somebody said because
84253. God, I have no time. I didn't know I was that late. What do you got on the board? Real quick. Couple of text messages. We'll get to the bottom.
You know what? We got to call her real quick.
Who you got?
Josh is on the line.
Josh, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show.
Hey, Ralph. Yeah, if you were Secretary of Homeland Security, what's Secretary Ralph Bailey's solution?
Stop arresting people that are not criminals. Go after
every person here illegally is a criminal.
So you think the theory is we should get rid of every illegal alien in the country?
Every single one, absolutely. That's what I voted for.
Well, that's not what I voted for. That's not what the president campaigned on, and that's not even. That's not.
It is.
No, it is not. No, it is not what he campaigned on. He did not say we're going to get rid of every illegal alien in the country. He said we're going to go after the criminals, the thugs, thing. And if he had done that, like I said, his approval rating would be in the 50s. When we lose the midterms, we'll see if you're still happy with what's going on. Quick timeout. Back half of the hour. It's TRBS. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With us on our news, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump signed a roughly $1.2 trillion government funding bill Tuesday that ends the partial federal shutdown that began over the weekend and sets the stage for an intense debate in Congress over Homeland Security funding. The president moved quickly to sign the bill after the House approved it with a 217 to 214 vote. Immigration officers with guns drawn arrested some activists who were trailing their vehicles Tuesday in Minneapolis. It's a sign tensions have not eased since the departure of a high-profile commander. At least one person wearing an anti-ICE message was handcuffed while face down on the ground. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 166 points. The NASDAQ dropped 336. More details at srnnews.com.
I just took my meds.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. Classes are back to normal at CSU Bakersfield after an anything but normal Monday afternoon where the campus was evacuated because of a threat by an anonymous caller who said they were going to shoot the place up and then blow themselves up. No arrests have been announced. Maya Hernandez will be back in court next week for a decision on whether she will be tried on a murder charge again in the hot car death of her 1-year-old son, Emilio. She is also to be sentenced on child endangerment convictions. The field of candidates for Bakersfield's next chief of police is down to 2 people, and they are both assistant chiefs with the department. That decision to be made by the end of the month and after one more virtual community listening session. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries in Kern County. If you're eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens and cares about you with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations, it's time you learned about QualCare IPA. You know, for years, I've been telling you QualCare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans and provides you with access to a large network of outstanding doctors and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond original Medicare benefits coverage, and understanding these coverage differences may be confusing. Call us today, 661-554-4544, and let us help you understand your options for 2026. Call today, 661-554-4544. That's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs and meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
On the next Armstrong and Getty Show, more on how bot armies are twisting what you see online, and the anti-Gavin Newsom backlash has begun. Sorry, Vogue magazine.
Iran tested one of our warships with a drone. Our fighter planes shot it down. Is this the beginning of the war? We'll check in on that and a whole bunch of other news of the day on the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Okay.
Oh, so let me get this straight. You all think, let's say you disagree with me morally, and you think it's a really good idea. What was his name, Josh? You think it's a really good idea that we round up everyone that's come here illegally and deport them. You think that's a good idea? Okay, fine. Morally, you think that's a good idea? Fine, fine. Let's don't argue about that. Politically, you think this is a winning issue? You really think that this continues, we're going to win the midterms? You think if this continues, that Gavin Newsom's not going to be elected president in 2028? Really? Because if you do, to be honest with you, you're stupid. This is a losing issue for the Republican Party. And the only credit I'll give the Trump administration is that they recognized it. That's why Bovino's out. That's why you haven't heard a whisper from Kristi Noem, the liar. I met Kim Jong-un. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Kristi. No, you didn't. You put it in your book, but you lied. And you bragged about killing a 14-month-old animal and a goat. Show that you're tough so you can run for president, because you can make the tough decisions. Because who else in the world brags about killing their pet, no matter if the pet was good or bad? Who brags about that? Kristi Noem does. And she lies, as she lied when she first reported this. But you all think politically. Let's don't talk morally. Let's all agree that it's a good idea. We round up all the gardeners and all the workers and the people working for Cassie and all the people working in these restaurants and landscaping. Let's round them all up and get them the hell out of this country. Let's all agree on that. But politically, you think it's a winning issue. You think this furthers the Republican Party. Let me tell you something. Gavin Newsom's going to screw around and be the president of the United States. And you all are going to be like, how did that happen? How did that happen? How did that happen? Because we've changed the look of America. How can you look at these videos and say this is a good idea? We should just be rousting people. We should come up to somebody and say, because you have brown skin and you have an accent, I need to see your papers. That's where I understand the ridiculous parallel with the Gestapo, because that's what was going on in the 1930s. Guys in gray suits would come up to you and say, prove to me you're not a Jew. You can't prove you're not a Jew? Get in the van. Get on the train. Head to the camp. It's not a winning issue. 71% of independents thinks it's a bad idea. 59% of the country thinks it's a bad idea. But yet you all think it's a great idea and it's going to get J.D. Vance into the White House? Who you got, Chris?
Sean is on the line first.
Sean, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Yeah, what's up, Ralph? How you doing?
Good.
So I have not been tuning into the opening monologue for your show, maybe in the past 3 days, but I've been keeping track on the Alex Preddy situation, and I'm not saying that it's right, but I will say that so there was a video that surfaced. I'm not sure if you spoke about this at all, of him 10 days prior.
Sean, you got to get to your point, son. Got to get to your point.
So did they show the video of him 10 days prior in a physical altercation with the ICE officers and spitting at them?
I've been alluding to that throughout the whole show. It was 11 days, but I've been alluding to that all during the whole show, where he was armed and they didn't even know it. They didn't even pat him down. That's how well trained they are.
Right. So what I'm saying too is that it's a 50-50. Maybe there should, it's a 50-50. And
what's a 50-50
at all?
What's a 50-50?
Both sides. Both sides. I mean, you can't walk up to a fire and not expect to be burnt. You know the fire is there, then why approach? And then you got a point, Ralph. You said that, the idea was to go after criminals and bad guys, right? So maybe they should just let them just do their job. And these things won't happen.
Okay, Sean, thanks for the comment. I don't know how to respond to that. I think it's an idiotic idea to try to round up every illegal alien. And as Chris posed when he came in here, I hate to bring you into this, but he said,
I was about to bring it up anyway.
We could have Technicolor TV.
Oh, Lord. You need a second?
No, I think I got it. I think I can get to the break at least. But
I mean, I could say it if you want me to say it. It was just, how far back are we going to go here? Like, you guys keep saying, we need to round up every illegal alien. What about your grandparents? What about your great-grandparents? They were illegal aliens as well. And the point I also have to highlight as well, even if you're against the illegal aliens here, you're hearing people who are not illegal aliens being attacked and killed by these people, and nobody sees this as a problem. It's like a cop going after a criminal, shooting somebody innocent and saying, oh, well, innocent bystander.
Here's more to Chris's point from Aliyah Rahman, an American citizen who was pulled out of her car, had her seatbelt cut, and dragged out of her car despite the fact that she's handicapped. Here's more from her testimony today.
An agent pulled a large combat knife in front of my face, which I thought was for cutting me, and later learned was used to cut off my seatbelt. Shooting pain went through my head, neck, and wrists when I hit the ground face first and people leaned on my back. I felt the pattern, and I thought of Mr. George Floyd, who was killed 4 blocks away. I was carried face down through the street by my cuffed arms and legs while yelling that I had a brain injury and was disabled. I now cannot lift my arms normally.
We'll play some more audio for you. This was a situation in which a DoorDash person came to somebody's home and they followed the DoorDasher into the home.
They don't have a warrant. They said they'll get one. Okay, if they get one, then they're going to break the door down.
That's fine, but I don't want to open the door if they don't have a warrant. Because this was my DoorDash lady. I don't even know the lady. She just ran to my house.
Okay.
What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I'm so scared. Barricade.
They went after a DoorDash driver and followed her into a U.S. citizen's home. So even if I agree with you that it's a good idea that we round up every illegal alien in North America, these aren't aliens. These are American citizens that are being rounded up and being rousted. You really think that's a good idea? You really think that's America? Show me your papers. What do you base this on? Your accent, your skin color. You really think that's a good idea? I want to hear the argument for this. We'll talk about this till 6 o'clock if we have to. Convince me why that's a good idea in America and how in the world you could possibly think this is a winning political issue. Walk me through that. Because I don't know if you all have been keeping score since the Trump win. We're 0-6. If we were a football team, we'd be eliminated from the playoffs already. We just lost, we being the Republican Party, just lost a seat in Texas in a congressional district in which Donald Trump, a year ago, won by 17 points. Do you hear me? He won by 17 points. A Democrat, 2 days ago, won that very seat by 14 points. It was a 31-point swing. A 31-point swing. That follows the New Jersey blowout. That follows the Virginia blowout. That follows the upset in Florida. And now in Texas? In Texas, a Democrat won a Trump district? And you all think that this is a winning political issue. You got to walk me through the logic. And Kathy was on here, and I knew she was going to defend the Republican Party. And she claimed, well, Ralph, when they won, because these two are going to go at it again, and the Republicans are going to get his ass kicked again, but there were 60,000 Republicans that came out. This time, only 40,000 came out. Why do you think there's low turnout, Kathy? I didn't want to get into it with her in the studio, but there's low turnout because people don't want to vote. And it's not because it's a special election. The guy got 57% of the vote in Texas, in a Trump district. And you all are banging my phones trying to convince me that this look is good for the party. This is good for the midterms. This is going to be great for the 28 election. If you're Gavin Newsom or J.D. Pritzker or Josh Shapiro. Because if this continues, if there's not a radical change in how we're going about this, we're going to lose the midterms and we're going to lose the presidency. And your world is going to change because they're going to pack the court and they're going to make D.C. and Puerto Rico a state, get 4 new liberal senators, and you all will be sitting there like, how did this happen? How did this happen? It happened because we weren't willing to admit this is a bad look. Even if you're not on the moral tip, that it's just wrong to dislodge somebody who's been here for 10, 15 years and has kept their nose clean and done the right thing and paid taxes. And just because they snuck into this country, unlike your ancestors, right? Because my ancestors were brought here. You know what I'm saying? We had all the great amenities of shackles and boats and, you know, that kind of thing. But the rest of you came here essentially as refugees. Every last one of you. Unless you're, you know, descendants to George Washington or something. And that still makes you a refugee. 842-5376, who you got?
Chad is on the line now.
Chad, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show. Chad?
Hey, Ralph, how you doing, bud?
Good, how are you?
Hey, you know what? Honestly, man,
I'm not sure what's the right situation in this, right? I definitely think it's horrible optics, like you're saying. It is horrible. It really is, and all I can really hope right now is that your political prognostication is as bad as your sports prognostication.
Unfortunately, it's not. You're right. Unfortunately, it's not.
But I mean, I get it. Something's got to change. But if it's not this is straight out of their handbook, man. If it's not this, it was gonna be something else. And I mean, look back at 2020. Look at all the crap that went on up in Washington, and all these people who think they have power, and we're not going to do this. We're going to stand against the president. I get it. People are they being asked unfairly? Maybe, right? But you know what? The other thing too is I know when I get pulled over by a cop, I'm yes sir and my ass off because I don't want to get in trouble, right? And instead of arguing with them, maybe people take that thought process and say, okay, yeah, I am a citizen. I'm sorry, and I get that it makes you mad. I was mad because I got caught speeding, but I kept my mouth shut and myself in check to keep from getting into more trouble. And I mean, those people, I don't know. Sometimes this reporting is no better than what Don Lemons did. It's such a garbage, and I don't know how to fix it, but we've got to fix it.
You got to call off the dogs. You got to call off the dogs. You got to focus on criminals, and then everybody will be happy.
But they do focus on criminals, and then when they deport them, everybody whines, screams, and cries until you bring his ass back.
That's not my issue. Let's make that clear. My issue is that they're going around indiscriminately asking anybody with brown skin and an accent. I played the audio of the ICE agent walking up to him and telling him, he asks him, why are you asking me? And he said, because I heard your accent. Now, where were you born? You really want law enforcement walking around asking people, where were you born? I'm stopping you. I'm stopping you because of your accent. You think that's good law enforcement?
I don't think it's good law enforcement.
Well, then what are we arguing? Then what are we arguing about?
Oh, I'm not arguing, but I'm just saying that you know what, Ralph, I really honestly, truthfully in my heart believe that if it wasn't this, it would be something else.
Well, yeah, it's politics.
I know that deep down inside.
Of course, it's politics. It's politics.
And I think
but my point is,
my
point is, we owned this issue. We owned it. Biden told us for how long he couldn't do anything without Congress. And within a month, Donald Trump has changed the whole picture. It was astounding. He owned it. And all he had to do was focus on the criminals. But if you're saying, or an earlier caller is saying that they voted for the dismissal of every illegal alien in the country, I'm sorry, that's not what I signed up for. And I don't think that's what the majority signed up for. And that's why the numbers look like they do. That's why the Republican Party, since Trump's victory, is 0-6 in elections, if anybody's happened to pay attention. And we're months away from the midterms.
And you're 100% right, man. I have had to go up in front of the immigration court to keep my mom here. Okay? My mom, they were going to deport her. My dad had to spend a lot of money to keep her from getting deported. I get it. I see that side of it. And you know what? I'm the biggest weirdo you ever seen in your life. Okay? Just my dad happened to marry a national Mexican woman, and she never got her papers straightened out. And they finally did it, but not right before she went to jail. So I get it. I understand.
Okay.
It's you're right. It's political, right? But there's a lot of things that people on both sides can do to keep this crap from getting stupid and out of hand like it is.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is stupid and out of hand on both sides.
Yeah, I agree with that. But the Trump administration can't control the protesters, can't control Waltz and all the Democrats that want to gin this thing up. But they can control the ICE agents. They can give them better instruction, better training, and focus in on the criminals. Let's take a break. We'll come right back. Take some more phone calls. Coming up at the top of the hour, Our good friend Paul Guerra, Big Cheese at Bakersfield Country Club, is going to talk with us. The BC Open gets underway on Monday. Local players and folks from all across the state and all across the country will be vying for $30,000 for the winner. We'll talk with Paul at the top of the hour. We'll continue this discussion when we come back. And we'll talk about the row at Hard Rock Cafe, the first criminality at this beautiful structure comes from our community. And it's made national news. It's in today's New York Post. And the three knuckleheads involved, a couple and another man, have all been arrested. And they're from Shafter, believe it or not. Quick timeout, coming right back. It's TRBS on a Tuesday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180, KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM.
You want to do Casey?
JR Show.
We need beds at the Mission and at the Open Door Network. We need mental health beds. We need substance abuse beds. I'm sorry, need jail beds. If your kid was acting up, breaking the law, I would, and my daughter knows this. I'll leave your butt in jail. She's 9 and she already knows. If I ever call dad from jail, you're where? Okay, well, thank you for letting me know, and I will see you in the morning. And I'm going to hang up.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
You know, oddly, one of the things I rarely talk about when I talk about Casey's Steakhouse is lunch. If you work downtown, if you work for the county or wherever on Truxton, it's not very far and it's real quick and it's very convenient. And the menu is similar, just smaller portions, and it is outstanding. And the variety on the menu that Chef Daniel has put together now is simply unbelievable. It's mostly a large groups coming to Casey's Steakhouse. And not everybody's feeling red meat to celebrate someone's birthday or an anniversary or whatever the event may be. And that's why Chef Daniel has advanced the menu. So there's Italian food. I love the fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. The lobster mac and cheese is everybody's favorite. The fish dishes, the mahi-mahi, the swordfish, the halibut. Where would you rather be than on F Street? And don't forget about the Stockyard next door for meetings, banquets, or just having dinner and having some of the craft cocktails that are served next door. It's Casey's Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
King Door Company continues to set the standard in the garage door industry, and I'm here to tell you a few of the reasons why. First off, King Door carries Clopay garage panels and LiftMaster openers, so you're guaranteed quality and reliability well beyond the reach of most garage door companies. And it just gets better from there. King Door has a fleet of fully stocked service trucks with all the parts and tools to handle any job quickly and efficiently. And those trucks are manned by the most knowledgeable technicians anywhere. They have all the technical expertise imaginable and the most up-to-the-minute training available. In fact, King Door is so committed to training that they have the King Door Academy, a full-size, state-of-the-art classroom right on the premises with all the latest teaching aids, including working garage doors to simulate any installation, repair, or technique. Your garage door is a very important part of the safety, security, and look of your home. So don't trust it to anyone but King Door Company. Call them today at 397-2744. Stop by the showroom at 7450 District Boulevard or check them out online at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, your company with the pride of a lion.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Yeah. I couldn't get up bed Friday. puked on the floors. I got nauseous. He thinks I should go. He didn't say it. And I just said, yeah, that's a good. I was in negotiations with Lily Flores about one of her Valentine's Day cards. Wish I had somebody to give it to. No, actually, I do have somebody to give it to.
Oh.
Shut up. 842, who you got?
One last one. Caleb's on the line.
Caleb, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show.
Hey, Ralph, I agree with you. My great-grandparents, they fled the Holocaust. And granted, this will never get to that level. To your point, don't go there. But, my dad would tell stories about neighbors saying, oh, that person looks Jewish. That person seems Jewish. And they'd never see them again.
Yeah.
And when they fled the Holocaust and arrived in Encino, were able to build a nice life for themselves, housed on Louise, they did that as illegals. It wasn't until 1948 when Truman reluctantly signed the Displaced Persons Act did they get citizenship. So that's what America's all about. Most of these people aren't coming here to commit crimes. They're coming here to make better lives for themselves and their generations of people. And I agree, go after the rapists, go after the criminals, but don't do it in a way that mirrors, to some extent, the Third Reich.
I agree 100%. Thanks, Caleb. I got a hard break, man. I got it out. I appreciate it. 842-5376, 842-KERN. We head into the 5. We're off to the northeast. Talk with the head of Bakersfield Country Club, Paul Guerra, the BC Open. Players will be sticking it in the ground on Monday in the Pro-Am. They get to screw around and practice on the course on Tuesday, and then it's for reals. As we used to say as kids, it's for reals. On Wednesday, the cut is Thursday. The check is presented on Friday. We'll talk with Paul Guerra. Talk about the casino situation. Then we'll take some more of your calls. Is this the political smart play to continue to bully American citizens? I'd stick around if I you.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The House has passed a $1 trillion funding bill that will end the partial government shutdown. Correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
By a narrow margin, House lawmakers approved appropriations bills to fund most of the government through the end of the fiscal year. The package included a temporary spending measure for Homeland Security funding that will allow Congress to negotiate changes to immigration enforcement operations. Democrats have demanded changes for ICE and Border Patrol agents following the unrest in Minneapolis.
Hey, Mike, make sure it's off.
U.S. and Iran.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters that talks with Iran are still planned after a U.S. Navy fighter jet shot down an Iranian drone that was approaching the U.S. aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln in an aggressive manner in the Arabian Sea.
President Trump is always wanting to pursue diplomacy first.
The shootdown occurred within hours of Iranian forces harassing a U.S.-flagged and U.S.-crewed merchant vessel that was sailing in the Strait of Hormuz. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
British police have opened a criminal investigation into politician Peter Mandelson over alleged misconduct in public office related to his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. The British government says newly released Epstein files include documents that suggest Mandelson may have shared market-sensitive information with the convicted sex offender, while Mandelson was a member of the British government a decade and a half ago. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 166 points, the Nasdaq dropped 336, the S&P 500 down by 58 points. More at townhall.com.
Is your dog a picky eater, scratching all the time, eating grass, or licking their paws until they're raw? If so, your dog's trying to tell you something. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, founder of Rough Greens here, and you may not know what your dog means, but I do. They're trying to tell you that his digestive tract is in distress. He needs live probiotics and enzymes, and guess what? You can't get that from kibble. It's not in there. The good news is you don't have to change his food to improve his health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens. It's America's #1 nutritional dog supplement for a reason. With live vitamins, omega oils, antioxidants, enzymes, and probiotics, just sprinkle it on your dog's food and watch them come back to life. More energy, shinier coat, better digestion, all in 90 days or less. Want a happier, healthier dog? I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. Use discount code PICKY. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code PICKY. Rough Greens. So good, your dog will ask for it by name.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Back to business at Cal State Bakersfield. I'm Chris Davis. That is after a threat from an anonymous person who said they were going to shoot up the campus and then blow themselves up. That came in about 2:45 Monday afternoon and proved not to be credible, according to police. But that threat had people first sheltered in place, then evacuated, and then classes canceled for the rest of the day while police did their due diligence checking it out. No arrests have been announced. Maya Hernandez gets another week before she is sentenced on the child endangerment charges on which she was convicted in the incident where her 1-year-old son died in a hot car. That decision was made by a judge this morning who is also taking more to decide whether she will be tried again on a murder charge in the death of Emilio. Her trial last year ended when the jury couldn't make a unanimous decision on her guilt. A couple of police decisions to be made. One is in Shafter, where the city council is set to decide today whether they will move the city's police headquarters to the former Shafter Modified Community Correctional Facility, which has been in disuse since 2020. The renovation would cost about $200,000. They may also use it as a temporary place for the city's IT department. Another decision will be made by Bakersfield City Manager Christian Clegg, and that is who the next chief of police will be. He tells KGET he has it down to 2 candidates. They are Assistant Chief Brent Stratton, who has been with the department for more than 20 years. Another is Assistant Chief Jeremy Blakemore, who is also a more than 20-year department veteran. Clegg says the decision will be made by the end of the month. He plans one more virtual listening session tomorrow night to gather community input. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Tuesday, 3rd day of February. Still lots to do in the final hour. It's Black History Month. Yesterday, we talked about the life and times of Marian Anderson. Today, we'll highlight the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor. Because again, as I said at the top of the show, I'm going about Black History Month a little differently than I have in the last 12 years on this radio network. I normally highlight just noted African Americans, Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson, Dr. King, etc., etc. This month and this year, I'm going to highlight African Americans y'all ain't never heard of in your life. And I would challenge somebody to tell me who Benjamin Elijah Mays was, former president of Morehouse College and the mentor to a 15-year-old freshman by the name of Michael King at birth, Michael King Jr. Then his father went to Germany and watched Martin Luther fight the Nazis against Jews and was so moved that he changed his name, therefore changing his son's name, giving us Martin Luther King Jr. But we're going to talk about his mentor, Benjamin Elijah Mays. And I've got some other miscellaneous news and notes to get to before we get out of here. But as we've been talking about since yesterday and sometimes last week, the BC Open gets underway on Monday with the Pro-Am, and we begin our coverage with the president of Bakersfield Country Club, Paul Guerra. What's really going on, boy?
How are you, Ralph?
I'm well, man. What's really going on? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just staying busy with this tournament, that's for sure.
Yeah. Give everybody the rich history of the BC Open.
Bakersfield Open, this is, I believe, in its 12th year. We took it on in-house about 6 years ago, and that's when the purse became over 100,000. And now this year's purse is going to be the biggest ever, 150,000. Still 30,000 to the winner, but this time, you know, the top 20, 25 guys get paid out a little more, which is nice because usually in those kind of events, it's top heavy for the top 10, and then the rest of the guys barely make their money back, if any. So
I played on Saturday. I didn't complete my round. I'll tell you about that much later. But there's some course changes being made. Is that going to be ready for the tournament?
We are hoping, talking to our new superintendent, Brian, he's hoping that the routes take in on some of those tee boxes. I think we'll be able to use them, especially 12, 15, and 5, which, as I'm sure as you saw, 5 is now going to be about a 490-yard par 4.
Yeah.
Those kids will be hitting 4 or 5 irons in instead of wedges. 15 now, they're going to have a hard time hitting it in 2 as a par 5. 12 still short par 4, but it makes it a little bit more difficult off the tee if you're going to hit driver and try to get up there by the green.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've added just those 3 tee boxes adds almost 145 yards or so.
Yeah. You're not lengthening 7? Because I saw some work being done on 7. I heard that
we will lengthen 7. It just won't be ready for the tournament, unfortunately.
Okay. Other than that,
once we're done with 7, that'll be a uphill dog leg left, 460-yard par 4. It's going to be probably one of the toughest holes on the course.
that is now one of the easiest. But you're right. From where I saw that you were putting those tees and moving those trees, that's going to be a tough shot. Just to get off the tee box is a tough shot.
Yeah. You know, it's unfortunate. That course is a great golf course, but it wasn't built for these kids now from that tee on the bottom on the left there, if you're familiar with. They're hitting driver over the trees and have 30-yard flip wedges in all the time. So
Yeah.
it's not meant to be that way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We're talking with Paul Guerra, president of Bakersfield Country Club, getting ready for the BC Open. Talk about the local players that we're going to talk to. We're talking to Vivek on Thursday. We're talking with Neil Batista, Vivek Patel on Thursday. We're going to talk with Neil Batista on Monday. You got me Chris Riley. Tell us about that and talk about his resume and how did he come back down to this level? I don't mean to disrespect him, but this guy was a Ryder Cup player.
So obviously Chris Riley, he was on the 1995 Walker Cup as an amateur, played in the 2004 Ryder Cup with Tiger and Phil Mickelson and, you know, some of the best names in golf, and won a PGA Tour event back in the early 2000s and kind of fell off the wayside, had some injuries, and I believe he was coaching for a little bit. He's a UNLV boy, and he's living in Vegas now, but he's trying to get back in, wants to try the Champions Tour. He just turned, I think, 51, so he wants to come back and make a run at it. So he called me up, and we gave a sponsor's exemption and said, "Come on out, we'd love to have you." So we're lucky to have him. I mean, when you have a Ryder Cup player in your field, I don't care when he played, that's the highlight there.
No kidding. What Ryder Cup was he on?
2004.
So Tiger was playing.
Oh, yeah, that's when Tiger was in his prime.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I can't wait to talk to him tomorrow. Cannot wait to talk to him.
Really nice guy. So he's looking forward to playing. I think he's just getting back in the competitive spirit again. And he saw this tournament and he saw the purse, and he said he's played here years ago and he's looking forward to coming back. So it's exciting to have him.
That is pretty cool. That really is. Yeah. I like the local players that we're going to see next week.
You'll have Bhavik Patel, past 2-time winner of this event, Manav Shah, 2-time winner, Balvik was on the Korn Ferry Tour. Manav just finished the Asia Tour, who's they're connected to the DP World Tour. Neil Batista, him and Jared Kidder are going to try qualifying for the Americas Tour here in about 2 weeks. And then obviously you'll have Nick Chacon, Blake Burrell, all local boys that are going to try to compete. Adam Duncan, who I'm not sure familiar with, he won the Nicholas Award at a Division II school a couple years back. He just shot 62 today at Monarch Dunes in one of their events for the Golden State Tour. So this kid's a stick. So,
wow.
He'll be playing in as well.
That's crazy. Stephen Hale be out there as well?
Who's that?
Stephen Hale?
Stephen Hale is he's the past champion, but he doesn't play in this event anymore. He's an amateur now, and he just enjoys the Weekend Warrior, gambles a little bit, and plays in some small events, but he just enjoys the game a little more now. He's like you and I, just going out and just trying to enjoy the game.
Yeah, don't put me in that. With my 20 handicap, don't put me in that category, man. Paul Guerra is our guest. How can folks come watch the tournament?
So the tournament starts Wednesday. There'll be a lot of practice rounds on Tuesday, so they're more than welcome to come out all week, starting Tuesday all the way through Friday. Tournament starts Wednesday morning. Little change this year: 132 players, threesomes in carts the first 2 rounds to get them around faster.
Wow!
And the final round will have a cut, and then they'll walk on the final day. But spectators are welcome at no charge. We'll have food, drinks out there. It'll be a fun time. Weather's supposed to work with us this year finally, so we'll have some decent weather, no rain. Going to be nice. So I think it's a nice time to, if your kids golf or you golf and you want to see some of the best golf. Remember, we had Sahith Theegala playing this a few years back. He just won on the PGA Tour. Jake Knapp, who also won on the PGA Tour last year, he played in this a couple years ago. I mean, so again, you're going to see some future PGA players in this event.
Yeah, and the golf is amazing. It's just a fun afternoon to go out there and wow. But they're going carts. What did you say? The first day, first 2 days, or just the first day?
2 days. First 2 days in carts. Yep.
Wow, I've never seen that. Do most of the guys? Go ahead.
Well, we just want to speed it up. Normally, they like to walk with caddies, or it's mandatory walking in these events. But we want to speed them up because in the last few years we've had frost delays and weather delays, and they finished the second round on Thursday. So we're trying to get them through a little bit more. We're trying to have them get through the round a little quicker, and that way we don't have to worry about any time delays.
Yeah. Do most of the cats have caddies? I know Chris Zucchini, my boy, you know Chris, caddy for a player for a couple of years, actually. He didn't. I don't think he did it last year, but he's been a caddy. And I know you were on Bavik's bag at one point.
Yep.
Jimmy Cisneros is on a bag as well. Do most of the players have caddies, or are they just playing by themselves?
I would say you'll see about 40% of them that have caddies, especially the guys that are coming from Korn Ferry or Asia or America's Tour. They're used to having caddies, and they'll have either family or friends. Devin Bling, he's a past champion. He'll have his caddy. I think it's his brother that caddies for him. So you'll see a lot of players out there with caddies, mainly family members or friends.
Yeah.
No
one knows that course better than you. What advice would you give to players coming out on Monday?
I tell everybody, keep all of our greens slope from back to front. So if you keep everything short, even if you miss the green short of the green, you'll have an uphill chip every time, and that's what you want. Because I know you play over the weekends. Greens were slow over the weekend, but I talked to the super today, and he's going to speed those things up to how we had them a few years back. I wouldn't be shocked if they're firm and rolling about 12 or 13, and they're going to be lightning. So it's going to be nice out there for sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. This is going to be fun. And I appreciate all your help. We're excited to cover this thing. And is the course open?
Appreciate the support.
No problem. You know that. And is the course open this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You better come out and see the greens, how they're going to be.
Yeah, that's what I want to experience. They'll be ready by Saturday?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
They'll be tournament ready? Okay, good.
Yep,
I'm going to play this
sir.
weekend. Outstanding.
Good.
Always good to talk to you, Paul. Appreciate it. Great work, you and Jen and everybody, all the pros up there. This has turned into a Class A tournament. We're really excited to be a part of it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And looking forward to hearing your interviews for the rest of the week.
Absolutely. Starting with Chris Riley tomorrow. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Love you, Pop.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Talk to you soon. Paul Guerra. Known that kid since he was 15, 16 years old. We used to have some epic rounds. He'd give me like 3 aside. I was shooting like mid-80s. He'd shoot like 79, and we'd battle. It was so much fun. Now I'm rolling wedges. Rolling wedges. I shanked a 6-iron Saturday. Just cold shank out of nowhere. I was like, damn, I thought I got rid of that. No, it's still here, Ralph. Ball went, I'm aiming at Chris, and the ball went right like that. Right off the heel of my club. Quick timeout. Coming right back. We can get back into our ICE argument. Is this really a good political look for the Republican Party? Since I can't win the moral argument with you, and apparently some of you feel like we should round up every illegal alien in North America and send them to Mexico. We're 0-6 since Trump's win. And you really think this is a good look for the party? Politically speaking. We'll see come November, won't we? And a couple of Novembers in the future. And I'm just telling you, this midterm is gargantuan. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Don't forget the Kern Radio Studios are powered by Adaptive Networks. For all your IT needs, call Adaptive Networks at 661-241-0638 or hit them up online at adaptive-net.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AML.
You got Adaptive right here.
Your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk a little medicine with our friend Dr. Viv Dev. John Cox from the California will join us with the news quiz, and we'll back all of that up with state-of-the-art news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You know, when our IT goes down, we're literally out of business. We have no signal and we can't broadcast our radio broadcasts. That's why we've teamed up with the folks at Adaptive Networks for all of our IT needs. And that's why you should as well. Call them today at 241-0638, 241-0638, or hit them online at adaptive-net.com. Adaptive Networks is right here in Kern County with lightning quick response times. We're taking minutes, not hours. And nobody knows that better than a radio station who needs that immediatamente. No distress call centers, no endless waiting, just local professionals who treat you like family and get you back and running extremely fast. Adaptive Networks, local expertise, lightning fast response. Call them today at 241-0638 or hit them online at adaptive-net.com. And owners Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne are guests tomorrow on The Ralph Bailey Show.
Looking for a unique way to spend Valentine's Day with your sweetheart? Skip the ordinary dinner and do something fun, entertaining, and with a little twist. This Valentine's, the Buena Vista Museum of Natural History and Science invites you to a night of romance, laughter, and murder at the Love You to Death Murder Mystery Dinner, a fully interactive experience set in the fabulous 1950s where everyone is a suspect and anyone could be the killer. Enjoy a delicious dinner while you and your Valentine step into character. Follow the clues, interrogate the suspects, and work together to solve a crime of passion. Is it true love or deadly betrayal? Dress in your best 1950s style. Sip, dine, laugh, and uncover the truth behind the mystery. All in one unforgettable night. Spots are limited, so don't wait. This Valentine's Day, fall in love to death at the Love You to Death Murder Mystery Dinner, presented by the Buena Vista Museum of Natural History and Science. Get your tickets now at buenavistamuseum.org.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money.
You see this? James Harden got
I
traded?
was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS,
Yeah, I was to my team. God, I don't want that guy.
No?
Hell no. You want to talk about a cancer in the locker room?
Yeah, no kidding.
60.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Peace a chance.
842-5376, 842-KERN. Who you got on the board? Or you got phone calls?
No phone calls, but I do have a couple on the board.
What do you got?
This first one just says, Ralph, what do you think about Joe Biden's ex-husband getting arrested for murder?
Crazy. And it's an open and shut case. It was a domestic violence situation. And I haven't really read about it. I saw the headline and I read, the lead. But apparently it was a domestic violence situation and she was found in the living room. Apparently he didn't even try to hide the body or anything. But yeah, it's crazy. It's always something with that family, isn't it? I mean, you can't hold that against Jill. She booted the guy. They were only married for 5 years. And, when she married Joe Biden was one of the hottest politicians in the country. As a young senator, I was a huge Joe Biden fan. 1980s, when I'm in my 20s and I'm a liberal Democrat, and he took down Robert Bork, that's what put Joe Biden on the map. He was the one that went after Bork. And it became a verb when a potential Supreme Court justice gets turned away because Robert Bork was too honest. That Bork is responsible for the confirmation hearings that we have now, where basically the jurists don't answer any of the questions. We couldn't get Ketanji Brown Jackson to define a woman, but it was Bork who was like, I don't care, that's what I think. And Biden went after him. And then he lost me in 88 when he ran, because that's when he got caught for plagiarism. And I was just at the base of my journalism career, full of ethics and staunch beliefs, young journalists marching off into what would become a 35-year career. And I was like, any politician that would plagiarize somebody else's speech ain't my guy. And I've hated him ever since. Even while I was a liberal Democrat, hated him. I despise lying. And there's no bigger sin in journalism than plagiarizing somebody else's comments. What else you got?
Isn't a church a public space with tax exempt status? And would they have to post signage as private property? The pastor is an ICE rep, not illegal, but conflict is appalling.
I don't see how that's a conflict. Because you work for ICE, you can't be a pastor, you can't be a preacher, you can't be a...
I think it's more along the lines of what ICE is doing compared to what you would expect a pastor to be doing.
Well, I don't think maybe I've painted as if all the ICE agents are acting this stupidly. I don't think that's the case. I just think they're poorly trained and they're a little full of themselves because Think about the difference. Let me ask you a question, if you think I'm stupid. Do you think the police act differently now that they have cameras on their bodies? That's kind of a rhetorical question, really, because the answer is yes, clearly. And if you believe that, then you believe that there is less police brutality because of the cameras, because they know they're being filmed. So I think that Kristi Noem, certainly on the directions of Donald Trump, instituting the fact that they will now all have cameras, because that was one of the demands of the Democratic Party in holding up the DHS funding in this shutdown, was that they take off the mask, which I now agree with. A week or two ago, I couldn't understand why they were making such a big deal out of the masks. But over my 3-day weekend, because of my sickness on Friday, all I did was watch videos, and it was just inundated with these abuses. That's why I'm coming on so strong. That's why my message on this has changed so radically, because what I've seen is crazy. Just what we saw on the Preddy video. Forget Preddy for a second. You really think that's good police work, to walk up to a woman and viciously throw her to the ground? You really think BPD officers would do that? You think one of Donnie Sheriff Youngblood's deputies would do that? Just walk up to a woman and tell her to get off the curb, and when she doesn't move, just shove her to the ground? You really think you'd see that in Kern? I don't. I don't think Sheriff Youngblood's men do that. I don't think Chief Terry's men do that. These guys do. And apparently some of y'all are rooting it on. And we had one caller who said, well, yeah, that's exactly what I voted for. Get rid of all of them. Get rid of every last one of them. And that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. And it's a really good political look. And I'm telling you, when it's 2027 and Gavin Newsom or Josh Shapiro or J.D. Pritzker or Amy Klobuchar has a 20-point lead, and we're like, oh my God, we're about to go back into Democratic presidency, don't scratch your heads and wonder why. Don't be like, how did this happen? Didn't we have the House and the Senate and the White House? Now we have none? How did this happen? This is how it's happening. These ugly videos of these guys that look like thugs that are coming up to American citizens. So y'all have conveniently slid by my argument. You want to talk about aliens? All right, let's talk about aliens. All day long, I've been talking about U.S. citizens who are asked to show their papers and prove on American soil that they're American citizens. That's just not the America that I grew up in. And it's not the America that I want to live in. Final half hour of the broadcast. I'd stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With us for news, I'm Keith Peters in.
Did I do that?
You're set up and ready whenever.
Oh, you did that.
We got to do promo now because we have Big Mike in the next break.
Oh, okay. I thought I yanked something. All we are saying. My heart is still thumping like a drum. Something ain't right.
Well, that's why I'm wondering if you don't have food poisoning again. I hope not, but we'll find out later.
From the egg salad sandwich?
Either that or the sushi.
Oh, you think it's... No, I'd be sick by now.
And it takes you about 24 hours. What I've read, 24, 36.
When I was in Vegas, I ate the fish at like 10 o'clock, and I was sick by like 3 in the morning.
It must have been bad.
Oh, dude, I was sick for a day. If I'd had to get on a plane the next day, I'd had to stay in Vegas. I stayed in my hotel the whole day, and then Friday I left. Spent a day in my hotel in Vegas. It's crazy. 3, 2, let's set aside just the logistics and the morality of rounding up every illegal alien in the United States. Do you honestly think that's a good political move going into the midterms? When 71% of independents think this is a bad look, when 59% of the American people don't like the direction ICE agents are going? If you don't like my moral argument, at least look at it politically. Let's don't thrust Gavin Newsom into the White House. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. Well, it's a busy Wednesday. Of course, Howard Marcus will be with us, our federal agent, and we'll talk to the Van Alstynes, owners of Adaptive Networks, one of our great sponsors, and our IT provider, and Chris Riley, participating in the BC Open. All that and me at 3, TRBS, News Talk 96.1, AM 1180, KERN.
Alone. Over 20 years of Bakersfield's best flooring store means you can trust us with your hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and of course, carpet. Come in today to see over 100 waterproof floors from our in-stock inventory. It's probably been time to change your floors for a while, so call, click, or stop by today. Your free in-home estimate is waiting for you. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, may I ask a few questions?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog.
Great. Do you have a pool outside?
Nope, just a big old backyard.
Nice. Another question. Are there any unlocked guns in the home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let's just talk about what we can bring for dessert.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wednesday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. We will break down the absolute latest ongoing tensions in Iran. What is going to happen there? Plus, Minneapolis basically becoming a no-go zone. What do we think is going to occur there? All that and more, plus the usual hijinks and drama. You won't want to miss it. Make sure you come hang with us on the Wednesday edition of Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. Live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
Because I made allusions to Dr. King's father, Martin Luther King Sr., changing his name to Martin Luther from Michael King to Martin Luther King because of Martin Luther. And they were like, he was born in the 1500s, like I made it up. Let me read you part of Dr. King's bio in lieu of our Black History Month edition. Benjamin Mays will do them tomorrow. Let me just tighten up our listener. In 1927, King became, this is Daddy King now, this is Dr. King's father, became assistant pastor at the Ebenezer Baptist Church of Atlanta, then senior pastor in 1931. With the country in the midst of Great Depression, church finances were struggling, but King organized membership and fundraising drives that restored these to health. By 1934, he became a widely respected leader of the local church. The same year, King also changed his name and that of his eldest son from Michael King to Martin Luther King after a period of gradual transition on his part. King was inspired during a trip to Germany for that year's meetings of the Baptist World Alliance. While visiting sites associated with Reformation leader Martin Luther, attendees also witnessed the rise of Nazism. Whilst the BWA conference issued a resolution condemning anti-Semitism, the senior King gained deepened appreciation for the power of Luther's protest. King was the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church for decades, wielding great influence in the Black community and earning some degree of respect from the white community. He also broadcast religious radio station in Atlanta, WAEC. So thanks for giving me the life and times of Martin Luther. I appreciate that. He said sarcastically. What do you got on the board, Mr. Burdick?
Ralph, you see how Trump is suing anyone who speaks out against him? I think Congress needs to pass a new law that if a governor, Congress, senator, or president sues an individual or a corporation, Congress needs to make a law that any money awarded to the government officials should be taxed at 100%. No government official should profit off of their position while working for the government.
Okay.
100% is a little bit of
a
stretch there, though.
Yeah, a little bit. What else you got?
Let's see. If they've been here for 20 years, no citizenship, and are taking advantage of the system, sorry, gotta go. If they are here working hard and paying taxes, sure, they can stay. He said criminals, and they're technically criminals.
I haven't even talked about illegal aliens today. I really haven't. You are the ones that brought up illegal aliens. Every case that I played audio-wise, Aliyah Rahman, and the gentleman that I played who was rousted in front of his home and thrown up against his garage, those are all American citizens. You are the only ones that are talking about illegal aliens.
We actually have one more Rahman audio, too.
Let's hear it. This is a woman who was handicapped, who was jailed.
I was never asked for ID, never told I was under arrest, never read my rights, and never charged with a crime. Approaching the Whipple Center, I saw black and brown bodies shackled together, chained together, being marched by yelling agents outdoors. I continue to hear the word bodies because that is how agents refer to us. We're bringing in a body. They're bringing in bodies, 7, 8 at a time. Where do I put them? We can't use that room. There's already a body in there. You have no reason to believe you will make it out alive if you are already being called a body.
And y'all think this is a good idea. Y'all think this is a good look for the Republican Party. I'm talking politics now. I'm not talking about your deep moral belief that, oh, you're here sponging off the thing, we need to get them all out. I'm not talking about that. You think this is a winning issue? You really think this is going to catapult J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio into the White House? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about giving up the majority in the United States Supreme Court. Because I guarantee you, Trump alluded to it today, if you watched his Oval Office meeting today, that they're going to get rid of the filibuster. And Trump said we should do it first. He talked about it literally today. That's the first thing on their agenda if they screw around and continue to win. Because we're 0-6 since Trump's been elected. The Republican Party has lost 6 straight elections. And you can listen to Kathy Abernathy if you want, that it was just a voter turnout problem where a Democrat went down in Texas, and won with 57% of the vote in a district that Trump carried by 17 points. Now, let me ask you something. If you were betting on a football game and your team got beat by 31 points, would you think the future is bright for your ball club? A Democrat in Texas in a Trump district went from Trump plus 17 to Democrats plus 14. Even a guy that got 40 on the mass SAT can tell you that's a 31-point swing in Texas. And you all truly think this is a great political idea? Keep it up, ICE. Keep rummaging around. Keep beating them up. Keep pushing women to the ground. Keep shooting folks. Wait till we get a load of the Renee Good autopsy. When you find out that the shot from the front did not kill her, that he killed her from the side, that she was shot in the breast from the front, she was shot in the side of the breast when he was at the side of the car, and the bullet, the killer bullet, went through her left temple and out her right temple. In other words, he killed her as she was passing by. Now, I believe Renee Good was in the wrong. But I don't think that Sheriff Youngblood's officers shoot a woman on the side of a car. I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think the BPD does that either. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong. But if you all think this is a winning formula, then why are we 0-6? How in the world did a Democrat win in Texas, period, let alone in a congressional district that Trump carried by 17 points? Walk me through how that worked out. And keep believing that this is a really good idea for the party. This is going to do us well come November. It's just remarkable to me. It really is. It really is how willingly we're going to hand this thing over to the Democrats. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I'm telling you, the world is going to change. And what do you think what they're going to do once they get into power? If Trump says you should learn your ABCs, they're going to say we're going to get rid of the alphabet. If Trump says football should be played on Wednesday nights, they'd outlaw that. You know how obsessed they are with Trump. And the minute they have power, which if this continues, they're about to gain, they're going to change anything and everything. You know the first thing they're going to do? They're going to take his name off the John Kennedy Memorial. And I will applaud that. I will applaud that. Trump's talking about putting up a arc, like the Arc de Triomphe in France, that rivals the Capitol. If you've ever been to DC, you know that the Capitol is, other than the monument, is the tallest building. Monument's not really a building. In DC, this thing is going to be right there next to it. If he builds that, they'll tear it down. I wouldn't be surprised if they tear down his ballroom. The world will change. And that's just minuscule stuff, because the real issue will be when they get rid of the filibuster and they pack the court. And then all the world changes. And we'll look back and we'll ask, how did this happen? And we're living it. We're living it. Pure and simple, this is bad politics. I don't care where you stand morally. I don't care whether you like Mexicans, whether you like blacks, whether you like Asians. This is what is going on in the streets of Minnesota is a bad, bad political look that, in my opinion, has caused the 0-6 record we have as Republicans since Trump's victory. And it ain't gonna get no better. And if y'all can live with that, then let's get rid of them all then. Let's keep roughing up women. Let's keep knocking them down. Let's keep using their accents as probable cause. That's a really good idea. And then let's come back come Christmas. So I can say, I tried to tell y'all. I tried to tell you, but what the hell do I know? As an earlier caller pointed out, as stupid as I am on sports, I know a little bit about politics. I really do. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this catches fire. Maybe independents will grow to like it. Yeah, that's the ticket. Maybe that 59% of American people that think that ICE are out of control. Maybe that'll drop somehow. Good luck with that. You're walking in the doo-doo. You're walking in the crap. You're walking in the trouble. And what's crazy, some of you are walking in gleefully. Bailey doesn't know what he's talking about. We're going to win the midterms. They're not going to change the court. They're not going to make D.C. a state. Okay. Let's go, Chris. Okay. You keep on believing that. Keep on believing that. Wait till you have to say President Newsom. Try that on for size. President Pritzker. President Shapiro. Speaker Jeffries. Try that on for size. Majority Leader Schumer. No, they'll get rid of Schumer. There'll be Majority Leader. Who would they elect out of the Senate on the Democratic side? No, they might hang on to Schumer. I'm just telling you. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Quick timeout, final break of the night, as we introduce one of our new sponsors, Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue. And yes, after a decade of work and 20 years in the catering business, he's still raging hot. I'll tell you all about it in just a second. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN, streaming live at KernRadio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
On the next Armstrong and Getty Show, more on how bot armies are twisting what you see online, and the anti-Gavin Newsom backlash has begun. Sorry, Vogue magazine.
Iran tested one of our warships with a drone. Our fighter planes shot it down. Is this the beginning of the war? We'll check in on that and a whole bunch of other news of the day on the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
If you're a loyal listener of this broadcast for the 13 years I've been on the air, you've heard me talk about my best friend, Mike Arrier, former Green Bay Packer, former New York Giant who played for Bill Parcells. Well, Mike has taken his experience in the NFL, that discipline, that hard work, and for 25 years, he's had one of the most successful catering businesses in town, Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue. And when you hire Mike Arrier, doesn't matter what your event is. It can be a corporate event, a wedding, a family gathering, a business lunch, sports events, game day, birthdays, a backyard get-together, or graduation. You get Mike Arrier. He gets his crew together. He gets his rig. He supervises the cooking, the serving, the cleaning, and it is an unbelievable experience. Call Mike Arrier today at 393-5507, 393-5507. Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue. And I can attest, the food is outstanding. Call him today at 393-5507, 393-5507. Tell him his best friend told you all about it.
Got battery issues? Choose the #1 name in power, A1 Battery. We've got you covered with top quality batteries for every need. Cars, scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems, wheelchairs, and so much more. If it takes a battery, A1 Battery has it. With multiple locations to serve you. Enjoy free diagnostics on batteries, starters, alternators, and electrical systems. Plus, get free installation with any purchase. First Friday of each month is free Key Fob Battery Friday. Family owned and operated since 1960. A1 Battery has been providing reliable, friendly service to Kern County. Need us in a pinch? We offer emergency services to make sure you're never stranded. Tell us you heard it on the radio and get 10% off your purchase. Call A1 Battery today, 589-1433 for the location nearest you, or visit online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bail Arm, we got you.
This Valentine's Day, give them the gift that gets the blood pumping to all the right places. Long drives, soft strokes, and the performance to last all 18 holes.
Whoa there. Get your mind out of the bunker and onto the green. It's the Central Coast Golf Cart, the only gift that guarantees everyone scores this Valentine's Day at 11 great California golf experiences. CentralCoastGolfCart.com. Love is a game played better on the course. CentralCoastGolfCart.com.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1.
And I finally feel okay. I've been struggling all day. You YouTubers can probably see me grabbing my heart. I'm on this new meds for my prostate, and it's just wreaking havoc with me. That's why I missed work on Friday, and now I'll let out the secret. I missed work on Friday because it was about 10 o'clock. I had breakfast. I had an egg salad sandwich from Bonnie's Best. Great egg salad sandwich. The only reason I get, and one of the big reasons I get, say use brown bread. I'm trying not to use. I thought because I gave up white bread a long time ago, and I've been using wheat, but my A1C went up, so I'm trying to cut all my carbs out. And by noon is when I called Kathy. I just was nauseous as all hell, and just I couldn't even work. I can show you my rundown from that day where I started to put the show together and got to about like the first segment and just like couldn't just, I was like, I can't, I'm not doing this. I can't find it. But anyway, and I had to play golf the next day because it's a team thing we were doing. So I went and played at 11 o'clock. I thought that would be long enough for me to get okay in the morning. And I got to the 14th tee and I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I blew chunks right there on the golf course. And thankfully, it was on the 14th tee because there's a fence that runs along the backside of the 14th tee that separates the 14th from the 9th tee. And there are bushes along the fence, so I was at least able to go into the bushes. But can you imagine if I had been in the middle of the fairway or if I'd been on a green? Because whatever it is that's going on with me, it happens suddenly. Like I told you the story, I thought it was something else that I was taking where I got sick in front of the Arco. I was literally going to the Arco to get something for my stomach, and I got it. I was leaving the store, and I couldn't even make it to the trash can. I threw up right in front of the Arco. And thank God it was 7 o'clock in the morning, and there was nobody around, and I did it again, and I did it again, and I felt bad. I felt bad, and I just kind of walked away, and then, on Saturday, Chris was driving me back because I was like, all right, I'm done. I can't finish, guys. Chris drives me back to the clubhouse. And by the time we got back to the clubhouse, I was like, okay, I feel better. He's like, shut up, go home. I was like, no, seriously, that cleared me out. I feel good. We came back to the tee box and I tried to hit a shot and I was like, no, and just went home. And I've been struggling with this ever since. And I thought I was going to get sick today, but thank God I didn't. And now, at the end of the show, is when I'm starting to feel better. But what are you going to do? Let's read a couple of text messages, and I'm going to jump in bed.
Ralph, I totally agree with you. The way ICE is conducting detentions are un-American. If ICE would have focused on criminals like Trump's campaign or like Trump campaigned on, let me tell you, America would have looked much better. I am an independent, but I love you, Ralph.
And you're part of the 71% that thinks that this is going wrong and Republicans can't win without you. That's the point that I'm trying to make. 7 out of 10 independents think this is going awry. And Republicans think they can win without independent voters? You've lost your mind. Don't you know there are more Democrats than Republicans? So to make up for that, we've got to get independents? How do you think Trump won? Go examine the 24 victory and see how many Latinos and blacks and independents and moderate Democrats that Trump stole from the party. And now, Papajenko, look who we got. We got Democrats winning in districts that Trump carried by damn near 20 percentage points. And you all really think this is good politics? Okay, we'll see. Time will tell. Just like my bet with Theresa Goldner. Don Lemon's not getting prosecuted, not getting convicted. I don't even think it may not go to trial. But we'll see. Time will tell. What else you got? One more. Two more.
Gavin Newsom will never be president of this country. It will never happen. How many people that are American citizens have been arrested? I want to know a number.
Well, we've provided 4 today on the show. We've given you 4 on this show,
including the couple that have been shot and killed and all that type of stuff a week ago. I don't know how you guys can continue to just blindly just accept this. Again, the thing that I keep looking at is this is like a cop going after a criminal. He shoots someone innocent and says, I was in pursuit. Big deal. Walk away. That's the exact same thing that's happening here.
I don't get it. And I don't understand the politics of it. I can understand your passion for illegal aliens and blah, 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 blah. But to think that this is a winning formula, that's the part I don't get. That's the part I just don't understand. Are you not watching? What does 0 for 6 mean to you? Coincidence? That a Democrat in Texas won with 57% of the vote in a Trump district? But you're right. Don't worry, right? Because Gavin Newsom will never be the president, right? Okay. You keep going down this road. He's not going to win. We're pushing him into the White House. And I didn't just say Newsom. I said possibly Pritzker or Shapiro. My point is, if this continues, ain't no Republican going to win. Ain't no Republican going to win in 28. But what do I know? That's going to do it for us. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. We're after you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump signed a bill ending a brief government shutdown.
The bill only covers 2 weeks of funding for the Department of Homeland Security. Texas Democrat Lizzie Fletcher says there should be a higher priority.
We don't have 2 weeks. When Americans are being killed, detained, harassed, and silenced by their government.
President Trump says he wants the debate to include getting rid of sanctuary cities.
I can't believe in Minnesota that they want to have murderers walking all over the streets. I just don't believe it.
Democrats want a code of conduct for federal agents, no masks, and a requirement officers show identification. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Kentucky Republican Senator Mitch McConnell has been hospitalized.
The 83-year-old McConnell was hospitalized Monday night for evaluation after experiencing flu-like symptoms over the weekend. A spokesperson